Make him the cutest that I've ever seen.
Win a bite of
Are
David
we
McCullough.
live? Are we live? The light is green. It says we're live. I'm going to go ahead and press the intro button.
There it is. Oh, okay. No. Ah!
We at CoCoTALK would like to thank the patrons who sponsor our show. So thanks go to Al Hartman, Alan Huffman, Alan Murphy, Blair Ledoux, Brendan Donaghy, Brian Joyce, Brian Weasler, Christina Armstrong, D. Bruce Moore, Davey Mitchell, Diego, Disney Saints fan, Eric Canales, Fedor Stamen, Grant Leedy, Jason Bucata, Jason Downs, Jenna Farron, Ken Reichard, Kyle Eder, Malfunk, Michael Pitsley, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, Richard Lorbieski, Rob Inman, Stephen Wagner, Steve Bjork, Terry Steen, Terry Steggy, The Backyard Shed Gang, Tom C., Tom S., and Tim Lindner. Thank you ever so much, patrons. CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. It's time to drop your socks, grab your real-time clocks, and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to everyone's favorite talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. We're talking about none other than CoCoTALK episode 165, where we're going to talk about, I don't know, Coco.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to everyone's favorite talk show. And let's get to the best part of the show right now. Let's just get to the dreamy Nick Marotta. Everybody soak in dreamy Nick Marotta. Okay. It doesn't get any better than this. Good night, everybody. This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. The Tandy Color computer. Jim Brain would never be...
I feel objectified.
That's the fastest episode ever.
Oh, it was. We cut rid of all the crap.
Best one.
Yes.
Change it to 166.
That's it. It's like being in the deli right now. All right. Well, we got a great show in store for you. For once, we've got all kinds of people here. We have got Mark Bosley in the house. Hello, Mark B.
Hello.
We have Mark D. Overholzer in the house. Hello, Mark.
Hey there, glad to be here.
We have the internet's own Grant Leedy. Grant Leedy's great for ratings. Welcome, Grant.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We've got our Hispanic member, L. Curtis Boyle.
Hello, everyone.
That's Spanish for the Curtis Boyle. We've got Rondelvo.
Beatles today.
Yeah, you do. We've got a guy who likes to say,
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
we're talking about none other than Rick Adams. How you doing, Rick?
Hello there. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the George Carlin Sound-Alike contest right here.
All right. We got a guy who likes to say,
stop right there.
and he makes a lot of cables and things with toggle switches. It's Jason, the Coco Man Reichard. Hello, Jason.
Hello, and I don't like saying that. But I did it anyway.
You did it for the money, right?
We got.
I demanded 50% more than everyone else got.
That's right.
And I got it.
We've got a guy who's got enough analog sense that would make you say, "Oh, crikey!" David O'Connor's here. Welcome, David.
Hello, everybody. Welcome from the non-existent land down under.
There we go. We've got Mr. Dreamboat himself.
Nick Marotta.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. Didn't mean to interrupt you from whatever you're doing. That was obviously more important than us. But welcome back.
Just typing on my fans.
Just responding to some fan mail.
Yeah.
Isn't he dreamy?
He is so dreamy.
He's booking his conference tour
Yeah,
and book
that's right.
signing.
That's right.
That's right.
How much you charge for an autograph?
We got a guy who gets things that makes us jealous. Brian Weasler's here. Hello, Brian.
Hello, all. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome. We've got from Mission Control, Alan Murphy's here. Welcome, Alan.
Howdy, howdy.
The guy with the beard that gives Nick Marotta's hair a run for its money as far as being luxurious. Rick Euland's here. Hey, Rick.
Howdy, folks.
We've got Mr. Dave 6809. Dave Veery's here. Welcome, Dave.
Hey, guys. How are y'all doing?
Not bad, not bad. A guy who's every time he creates a new game, another Ferrari shows up in his garage. It's Nick Marentes.
G'day, everyone.
Oh, g'day, g'day. We've got a celebrity in the house. Brian, the Music Man Shoebrings here. Welcome, Brian. He's muted. And we got a guy he's occasionally known for being somewhat enthusiastic about being on the program. He shows up as being muted. Hopefully you're not muted. David Ladd, are you there?
David Ladd.
Hello, everyone. Are you ready for a show today?
My greasel is weased. My weasel is greased. Yes, so it is. My greasel is weased. Yes. So, and Brian, the Music Man Shoebring, you are now unmuted. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
And it sounds like you got a lozenge for that throat. You no longer have that thing going on there.
Of course.
All right. Excellent, excellent. And I'm your host with the least, Stevie Stroh. Welcome to the program, everybody. Brian, you mentioned you were kind of pressed for time today, right? Right, Brian Weasler?
Yes. Yep. I got to step away a little bit later this afternoon here, so
All right.
I may not be here for the whole show.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let you get to your project update and acquisition, your show and tell segment. We'll go ahead and let you run with yours before we get into news, and then the rest of us who are not having time constraints, we could feature our stuff later. So
Okay.
Not to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot. Are you ready to show and to tell Brian Weasler?
Yes. Yep. A couple of things I wanted to kind of share, and then I'll show the big one here that was kind of excited about getting. One thing that was kind of fun is I found some cassettes out there. I know we've talked about these before. The ones that look like little computer reels.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, got a 4 of them there. So those are kind of fun. I have a couple of these that I actually used back in the day, and I don't know, when I saw these out there, I just had to grab them up because they're just something a little different about them. So
yeah, absolutely.
Kind of fun. So, and then one that I got. Go ahead.
What brand are they? Are they Tandy ones or are they?
Yep. Yeah, they actually say TRS-80 right on the front cover there.
Oh wow.
So.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, nice.
I always like those type because they would never, the tapes is sometimes kind of alignment and they jam, especially if you rewind them and fast forward them a lot. And so those were lovely because they never would.
Oh, because it has a little metal reel that it actually spools up onto?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I said, when I do a lot of fast forward rewinding, the tape would get out of alignment until it jams in there. And then you're like, got to work it through slowly and try to get it all straightened out. So.
And that's when you grab the pencil with the eraser and you start to turn it manually like that?
Yep. Carefully. Yep. Exactly.
There's a quicker method. You get it and you get the tape and you tap it on your leg like that.
I've tried that, but sometimes it gets so jammed it won't do that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Very jammed up tape then.
And then something I also stumbled across that might be kind of fun because I've wanted to make a joystick or two, but this is actually a Radio Shack part.
Okay.
It is a joystick. I posted some pictures out on Facebook, but it has both potentiometers on it. They're the 100K, just like the Tandy ones do.
Looks like the type that go in the RC controllers. It looks like a replacement module. So if you have
okay.
controllers,
it has some screws. It even comes with a little aluminum handle.
Yep.
Like the Black Beauties that have the metal handle. So it's just kind of a fun little find. I thought might be kind of interesting.
Yeah, cool.
And then one here that was kind of fun. This came all the way from over the pond, from over in the UK.
Across the pond, as we say.
Cross the pond, yes.
Yeah.
Oops, let me get it out of this packaging here. Only because I find joysticks kind of interesting. This one here, it's a company called, I'm going to, maybe you guys can look at the name here. Is it, how would you pronounce that there?
Voltmace?
Delta?
Voltmace or Voltmas?
Delta?
Voltmace Delta.
And the joystick looks like this.
Wow, that is neat. That's similar to the Dragon stick.
Dragon.
Now, is that a self-centered spring-loaded stick?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, does that have the 5-pin DIN like the CoCo connector?
Yes, it does. Yeah, but it has the 5-pin.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
That's probably for the Dragon then.
Neat.
Yeah, it was listed on the Dragon site.
Okay.
But it
it's brand new.
This button here doesn't really do much. If it does, I don't know. Maybe it's more
Maybe it's
left-handed.
a rapid fire or something.
I'll have to try that. Try that on a
Are
game
there
to see if
any,
it does. I was just playing it with this one here, and
is there any insert in the pamphlet or anything that came with it?
no little documentation, and the outside just has the part numbers on it. So no.
Okay.
I might be able to go out and look, and maybe there might be something out online. Maybe someone might have scanned in or something. But it even says made. Even says made in. Let me get the light there. That's hard to see. They're made in England.
In England, jolly good.
So,
jolly good.
I think that right-hand button there isn't that third button. That's designed to put out the dumpster fire, isn't it? That's why it doesn't work.
That's the rage quit button when you're doing really bad in the game. So yeah, that's the abort. You press that button, you go flying out of your chair. It's the ejector seat button.
And then maybe it was 3 weeks ago. I showed this color computer here that I acquired.
Okay.
It's the one that has the composite board that's installed from the factory.
Okay.
And the model number on this, what's that?
The educational one.
The educational one, yeah. And its model number is 26-3128.
Wow.
Well, I came across, and let me do this real quick, gentlemen. I'm going to switch my cameras here. There we are.
Ooh,
Clear the desk here a little bit. So here's one here. It looks better on the picture. It's actually quite yellowed right through here. And this one here is that same model number, but it's a 26-3128A. I don't know. Is it coming into focus at all for you guys?
Not too much, no.
Not too much, though? Okay. Well, the thing I really wanted to show, so it's a similar model, but what's really cool about this one,
the composite's in a different position.
It's a different position, and you can actually switch it between
color and monochrome.
Monochrome.
Color and monochrome, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So that was really cool. And the thing that's unfortunately not coming into focus, that this one really made me. That's here. Sorry, guys. Trying to look at the screen.
The serial number is all zeros and a 1.
And a 1.
Is that the one you got from Canada? Did that come from Canada?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I saw that one. I saw that one in Canada. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So this is 00001.
That is neat.
That's cool.
I was really excited to get this one. So.
Does it say color on there?
It actually does. Well, on the front it says just color computer, but on the back here, I don't know. It's probably not going to come into focus very well, but it has the different. It's not going to come into focus. Sorry, but it has the color on the back of it there.
The proper pronunciation of color.
You can kind of see the yellow in here now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so the thing I'm debating about is whether to. I've been doing some Retrobriting lately of some other systems, and I'm really debating whether to break the seal and make this thing look pretty. I really want to. I may go ahead and break the seal just to make this thing look proper.
Here, I have something that can make it look pretty. Hold on. We just put up this picture. Just put a picture of Nick Marotta on there, and that'll be all you need right there.
Fan mail spikes.
And isn't he dreamy?
Yeah, Ron Delvaux's got stickers he put on his CoCo. You can get a Nick Marotta sticker for your CoCo, and
there you go.
Increase the resale value, especially if it was an autographed, like trading cards. Like
I demand a royalty on that.
That should be the next impulse item in the next CoCo Fest. Nick Marotta sticker.
Yeah.
When you see things listed on eBay, what is it, the New York Times or whatever?
Yes,
was that kind of a thing there?
Yeah, it's the Nick Marotta Tiger Beat magazine edition of the CoCo. So
did that CoCo come from Quebec? Is that a Quebec CoCo?
I don't know if actually, I can't remember where. I'd have to look at the shipping to see where it came from. I don't have the tag in front of me.
I think me and Steve were looking at that one a couple months ago, eh? Is that the one?
Yeah.
I actually just got this about a little over a week, about 10 days ago. So I think not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before. So yeah. So it was out there out on eBay for, I think it was up for auction for 6 days now. Whether somebody had listed it before or not, but I didn't notice it at first when I saw it because it just looked like any other CoCo, and then I started scrolling through the pictures, and then this is what caught my eye. So I was looking at it, but yeah.
Neat. Yeah, when I had gotten a composite mod installed on my white CoCo 1 back in the day, and it had 3 leads coming out. There was one for audio, there was one for composite color, and one for composite mono. So I'm assuming the mono basically just lacked a little color burst or something to not muddy up the picture on the monochrome screens. And that's probably what that switch is doing, is just cutting off color burst or something like that.
Actually, if you want to see it, I can plug in a couple cables if you guys want to see it. If someone else wants to talk about something, I can plug in real quick and you can see it up on the screen.
Sure. Yeah.
What it looks like there.
The MC1372, the video demultiplexer chip, actually has composite in the form of S-video signals on its pins. So you can actually get a full color composite signal and a black and white signal directly off that chip.
Is that the VDG?
No. The MC13, what is it, 1372, I think?
Okay.
134.
What is that?
Yeah, the 1372 is a modulator chip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Dave can tell you all about them and letting the magic smoke out.
I nearly let magic smoke out of mine when I was designing my composite mod.
P51 space modulator.
Yes.
It was a small fire, Mark. Just a small fire.
It's more illudium.
Okay, so that's very bright. The color is kind of overdriven there. So that's in the color mode, right?
That's in the color mode here. So then.
Yeah. Okay.
Switch.
So that just kills the color burst, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice and clean though.
Very clean. Very clean composite.
Yep. Very nice. I mean, it's that factory installed one there, and it's just really pretty exciting. I really like it. I was kind of struggling a little bit with what type of a plug to get for it, and I realized when I asked the question out on Facebook, what I had was one of the plugs that has the yellow, red, and white, so it has the stereo connector on it.
Yeah.
And when I switched to one that had just like a stereo plug, basically, if you want to say, no video, that was the ticket. So having that extra, I want to say not really prong, but extra contact on the plug.
Yep.
It's not connecting correctly inside the composite port. And when I switched to that and then plugged in, everything was nice and clear. So
there you go.
Yep.
No, that's a beauty. That is a beauty.
So that's the
same
Edtasm color script sit mode there.
Yeah. That's the same connector I've got on my MC10 that I have not had a chance to look at since I've had it now for like 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Just go back to color again on that for a sec.
Yeah, it's super bright. Like
it is kind of bright there.
The green is bleeding through the text.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good on my monitor over here. I have a splitter on it, so on my monitor it's a nice green. This is going through one of those Dazzle composite USB.
Yeah, and you could probably, in your software settings, you could probably turn down the hue or something on that to soften it a bit. Yeah, no, but that's great.
Up on a monitor, it looks great. So
yeah, that is super clean. Though. Super duper clean. Yeah. That's
and
a
just
beauty,
one last
mate.
thing. Oh, sorry.
That's a beauty. That's a beauty, mate. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to share, and I was going to post some pictures. There was I think Stevie, you had commented on it. A guy had done some retrobriting, and he tried to use, I think, water that might have been too warm, and he actually melted his keys.
Okay.
Kind of retrobrite. Didn't you? I think you guys might have seen.
Okay, yeah, I remember seeing the picture. Yeah, so he was asking if anybody had some keys they could spare, right?
Keyboards and stuff. And he had, and I had shared some pictures out on Facebook of a computer that I was retrobriting. Let's see here. Where's my share button here?
Puts a whole new meaning on the word melted keyboard.
He did. He really did melt his keyboard. Oh shoot! I'm not seeing my. Oh,
well, I had to stop sharing on mine. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So go ahead. You're good.
Okay, so Here's some pictures that I had. Bring it over here. Sorry.
Let me
There
see
you
it.
go.
Oh.
So here's a. It's not coming through very well, but there's actually some writing here. This one was kind of. I started to clean up a little bit. You can see here. Can you see this writing right
Yeah,
here? Someone
yeah, a
wrote
little bit.
Someone wrote like $25 on it.
Okay.
And the method, the reason I wanted to share was I think some of you folks have done Retrobriting before, and for me, what really worked well was using this product here. It's a clear, it's a liquid peroxide.
Okay.
This 40V, and then I used a tub like this. I found this at Walmart for $10.
Okay.
And what's really nice is that it has this gasket that goes around it. And when I put the water in there enough to just cover the case with the peroxide, I probably maybe put, I don't know, maybe a cup and a half in there.
Okay.
In the sun, because it's closed like this, it actually heated up the water.
Oh, wow. So you kind of boiled that son of a bitch.
Yeah, and so it wasn't like, I mean, it wasn't hot. I mean, like, I think that guy might have had maybe too hot of water, obviously.
Okay.
But it's obviously more than just lukewarm. So the combination of the warm water with the peroxide and the UV from the sun, let's see here. You can see here's a picture right here, and it's completely gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really whitened up really nice.
Now, what did you do for the badge? Did you like put some painter's tape over that badge or something to protect it? Or
well, this badge here was already.
It looks like it was already kind of faded, right? It was kind of
pre-faded. This one was already faded, and so I really didn't worry about trying to salvage this one, and it didn't make it any worse.
Okay.
But I do have some that I'm working on right now, and I'm actually taking the badges off just by getting a real thin screwdriver right here. And once you get underneath the bottom of that badge and just push it straight across, it peels off really nice. And then I use some thin double-sided tape, like double-sided Scotch tape, and to re-adhere it back on there.
Does
again.
applying a little bit of heat help them come up at all? A little heat, and then
you have a little bit of heat there. You can see here on the bottom, you can actually see its little tan line right here.
Yeah, from the warranty sticker.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
And
right.
when I was all done retrobriting it, you can see the difference here.
Wow.
And
Oh, wow.
you can just see
You can barely see it. Yeah, you can barely see it now. Yeah.
Yep. So that those three combinations, the heat, the
And what state are you in?
Iowa.
Iowa. So apparently you've got adequate sunshine there.
Yep. Out on the back deck there, I was able to get some good sunshine. It took about 4 hours.
Okay.
In the tank there. So yep.
Wow.
I really like the look of those, the white case CoCo, the full-size white case ones.
Yeah. And having that seal too would kind of keep the evaporation back inside. So as it evaporated, it would just condensate, and you have probably less water loss at that point, right? So
yeah, and then because I think also too, like the peroxide, I don't know if it would evaporate out of the water or not, but I've only been adding to it. I've done 3 different cases now, and I've only added just maybe another cup of peroxide over the past.
I would imagine
4 days.
It's probably going to work the same way water does. You know what you know that water is H2O and peroxide is just H2O2. So it's all the same stuff. So I'd imagine it has to work the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just evaporate away, and that foam seal seems to work really well. So
yeah, no, that's really cool. That's a cool process. I might be tempted to try that. What was the mixture of water to peroxide? Like half and half, or?
No, I probably have. I'm going to guess maybe 2 gallons of water, and maybe up at this point here, probably about 2 cups of peroxide.
Oh,
so maybe,
really?
Yeah. So it's not it's not a high concentration like 50-50 or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Really?
Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool.
So yeah, I've been wanting to do some of that, and I got some cases. So this color computer I just showed you, I'm really tempted to do it just to make it look pretty, only because it's kind of a unique system, and it's nice to keep the warranty sticker intact, but this one might be worth it just to make it look nice. So.
Now, does anybody know? Has anybody heard from Carlos Camacho lately? Does he still have the badges? Because he had some of the square badges and the bar badges for RAM and for Tandy CoCo type stuff.
Yep, I bought some about a month ago from him.
Okay. So that would be
he's
nice.
been active on Facebook, though he hasn't been on in the chat here or anything for a while.
Okay, all right. So that's a good source if you need some of those kind of spacebar looking badges that go across the CoCo ones. He's got some.
They
of
look
those.
really good too. They're really good quality.
Yeah. So yeah, if you find yourself where you got one that's just in really bad shape, a nice new replacement would be a good thing to have, right?
Now here's the ones that I picked up from him.
Okay, yeah, those look really good.
Yep.
And those are kind of bubbly?
Yeah, the kind of a little bit of a that bubbled up plastic that's over the top of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Neat.
And,
Very cool.
But he ships them out real quick too.
Now, do you have this? Does he have the square ones too that go like in the corner above the keyboard, like it says 32K or 64K or whatever?
Yep, right here.
Okay, 64K RAM. Look at that.
Yep.
Your one-stop shop for all your badge and button needs, huh?
Yep. I don't know if he has he's talked about having a website that he wanted to put up. I don't know if he has that up or not. I just messaged him through Messenger. And
right. Well, yeah, I believe the website itself, the domain name is colorcomputerstore.com, but I don't know if he ever got that. That's the site name, but I don't know if he ever set up his e-commerce site. That's what he does for his day job. He does real e-commerce sites. So he's been wanting to do a CoCo e-commerce site. I just don't know if he's gotten to it yet or not.
Okay, well, I'm done dominating the show.
Enough about you. Enough about you. Let's hear about you. All right. Well, how about we do this? We're gonna take a commercial break before we go into news. And you know what? We're gonna play a commercial that we don't play as often. So we'll be back after these words, and then we'll be back with some news from L. Curtis Boyle.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Bakers. Now they like a family present. Let's see now. Tandy's color computer system with its own carry-home pack. That's a family affair.
Wow, Dad. A colour computer. A computer cassette recorder.
And Aussie Accountant. That's for me.
And OzQuiz for my school project. And 2 joysticks. And a viewed game.
Okay, who's the expert?
Me, Dad.
Thank you, Tandy. Sam.
I'm too sexy for my love. Too sexy for my love. Love's going to leave me.
Hi there, this is Mark Overholzer, and you're watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading weekly talk show where you can join in. Hey, come watch us and see what's happening in the world of Coco.
All situations depicted in this trailer actually happened. This true story has been anonymized to protect the guilty. Starting in the dead of winter, a group of bored teenagers blew stuff up, learned code cracking, learned phone phreaking, hijacked and hacked. No system was safe. No one could catch them, or so they thought. True story at the dawn of the internet. System hacked.
You can leave your hat on.
Every Christmas, Santa's little helpers go shopping at Radio Shack. A unique build idea from Radio Shack.
Hi, this is Rick Adams, and I'm the author of Temple of Rome, Shanghai, and now Bomb Threat, and you're listening to Stephen Stroh on CoCoTALK.
From around the world, what you need to know. Get caught up on News with L. Curtis Boyle.
And now a Muppet News Flash.
It's time for everyone's favorite part of the show. Well, we're talking about, of course, dreamy Nick Marotta. But the second favorite part of the show is news with L. Curtis Boyle, our favorite foreign correspondent. What's new this week, L. Curtis?
First of all, I'd like to say that we're probably the second favorite because we're the ones that help people have their nap time during the show. So.
as Mikey says, snoozy newsy time. So.
Hey, first up, Canadian Retro Things. I'm not sure if he's in chat right now or not, but has a video of how to fix some glitches he had on his MC10. Now, his MC10, kind of like yours, Steve, he had that custom 8K ROM.
Yeah.
Or 8K RAM mod, I should say. So now he's fixed it up thanks to some tips that he received that actually will work properly with the 16K module.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember the video we showed before, but
Yeah.
there used to be the video was all glitched up and he was trying to play some games and it was just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all completely fixed now. So he goes through the process of what he had to do and what exactly had to be done to fix it. So I won't play the video, obviously, but check that out.
Well, we are very lucky to have a famous YouTube celebrity with us in this community. Thank you, Canadian Retro Things.
Next up, Phil Harvey Smith has some photos of the first factory-produced versions of the circuit board for replacement power supply for the Dragon.
Ooh.
So he's done some prototyping stuff, kind of like we've seen, what's his name? Who's doing the salt chip replacement.
Okay.
But now he's actually getting into...
Terry Trapp.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is what the board looks like. Now, he did discover there's a few glitches on this one he's going to have to fix up on the final run, but these are fixable enough that he can actually sell these.
Okay.
Before he gets into the main, redesign.
Yeah, these are really cool. I think he's using like some sort of like a laptop type of power adapter to plug in through the back there. They're really cool. I've been kind of watching this.
There it is installed.
Wow.
Neat looking layout.
It looks like it's going to be a lot smaller than whatever used to be in there.
Yeah, if those screw mounts on the right there are indicative of what the original
now,
size
is
was.
this would this also be, is he designing this for European 220 only, or is this going to be like auto switching or whatever they call that?
The transformer's external, so it shouldn't matter.
As long as you're putting in the 5 volts DC or whatever it needs.
Yeah, it also needs like 9 volts AC for the for the RS-232 portion on the for 64K ones, but maybe
so what's the connect? So is the connector on that? If it needs 9 volts AC as well, is it a multi-pin connector, or is it just a DC connector?
It might just be a barrel connector. It might just be 5 volts. If it's for the Dragon 32, it probably doesn't need the 9 volts AC.
Because he's got some DC to DC converters here.
Yeah, the Dragon 32 just needs +5 and +12. The -12 is if you have RS-232. So it's it does not. It's just the +5 and +12.
Okay.
So the DC converter is obviously stepping 5 volts up to 12, I would imagine.
Would this work with the Dragon 64 then, which does have the serial port?
Yes, it can. You just if you're not piping -12 in, you can't use that. I was playing around with that on mine. I have a breakout board that you can use with a PC power supply where you plug that AT connector into it. And I was playing around with that a little bit, and I had my 64 running with just +5 and +12, so it works fine.
Okay, so you're basically meaning you're powering the Dragon, you're just not powering the serial port.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
I'm glad you had hardware guys were here to explain all that because I didn't even understand it. Never mind, could have told you what it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What I kind of like about his board there is that if you kind of go back to that previous picture, right there, to the left of it, there's the hole on the side there where I'm trying to remember that's the reset button.
Okay.
Would set. I like his board because I'm thinking about when he makes them available, buying it because the CoCo VGA, I could use that port right there for the video connector to go out right there, and I think it would set nicely right in that little pocket. So I could hook up my CoCo VGA and then have the video out right there in that little where the reset button would go.
Okay, so the hole is just above the reset switch, which is basically facing the left side of the case there, right?
Yes.
Where that little spring-loaded thing is.
Yep.
So there's a hole just above that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And that the CoCo VGA is like that little basically S-video looking connector, right?
Yep.
You think that'll flush up there nice and pretty?
I'm hoping so. It looks like there's the right amount of room there.
I just remember
Yeah,
when our standard for pretty is Nick Marotta on the cover of Teen Beat magazine. So is it going to be this level pretty?
I don't think that's possible.
We have standards on this show, so
level dreamy.
Oh, my ego.
That's very soft.
He'd be stroking his ego.
All right, so cool. I love seeing stuff like this.
Yeah,
go to sleep.
cool.
Yeah.
It is nice because the PSUs are becoming scarce. There's a lot of dragons out there that are available for purchase, but so many of them don't have the power adapter. So.
Okay, here we go. We've got some official correspondence here from Kieran, a.k.a. Sixy from the UK. He says, FYI, on the Dragon 64 at least, the negative 12-volt rail is used to feed a regulator on the main board to generate negative 5 volts, which is needed for the video circuitry, I think. But you're saying you got it working on a 64, though, right?
I had it working on a 64. Now I have my CoCo VGA connected to it, so maybe that might have been working differently. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I was playing with it because I pulled the plug off of the negative 12 and it was running fine, so I'm not sure.
All
yeah.
right.
Also noticed on that board, it specifically had a 5-volt video fuse. Perhaps that has something to do with that.
Okay, yeah, I noticed there was a handful of physical fuses on there too. Because I remember when you posted your picture, Brian, Phil had given you, was it Phil or somebody else said, please be careful about this, this, and that, and he had told you a few things to be careful for as far as if, maybe having a fuse in a power supply because something could blow something up in your Dragon. Do you remember that?
Yes, I was, what I was looking, yep, what I was looking at doing was using a smaller PC power supply.
Right.
I found one that would fit inside for the back of the Dragon, and then I was going to use a breakout board, and obviously the PC power supply is capable of providing more current than the Dragon needs, and so he was saying to put like some fuses in place just to prevent any shorting so you don't fry your board. So
okay,
yeah,
right.
Yep,
fire breathing dragon.
Fire breathing dragon.
It would be, yes.
Let all the smoke out.
Crikey, it's smoking.
Okay.
Getting the smoke back in's a hard bit.
Sorry, good. Okay, next up, Jim Gary's been working on porting the Sword of Fargo, which was an old Commodore PET game originally, but it was one that Epic sold and actually sold on multiple systems afterwards. Now, I'm not going to play the video in this case here because there's an update that's in the GameON news segment.
Okay.
But basically, he had posted this, I think, on Sunday, and he's got the gameplay. He was going through debugging. He wanted some testers to come and try it, and then he's also asked if anybody wants him to port it to the CoCo. And it's a pretty interesting game using the lowest graphics, one of the better ones, even has shadowing where you can only see around your character, and it gradually builds the map as you're going.
Oh, neat. So like
so I'll show that in the GameON
kind
news
of like
segment there.
rogue-like, right?
Yeah. But just as of, I think, yesterday, the day before, he actually released it. So I think he's basically had some people debugging and testing it over the week, as of course the week went through. So I don't know if he's still looking for people to test it and report bugs, or if he's pretty well got them worked out. But we'll play the video in the actual GameON segment.
Okay.
Later on in the show.
Hello, Ben Drake's just joined us. Hey, Ben. Okay. Sub-Etha Software.
Yep. Good old Alan Huffman. I was hoping he was going to be here to see if he's figured anything further out. Basically, what he's been doing is he's been going through some old papers and things from back in the day in the 80s. And this is from when he's learning machine language. He found this source code listing here with no comments and just he didn't even know address, so he doesn't even know where it was. So he's been trying to go through and figure out what the heck is this thing doing. And he went through it, and he's thought maybe originally it was part of the terminal program that Rainbow wrote, because they wrote this thing called Remote Term. And there's two versions of 183, 185. And it was basically if you wanted to run your own BBS, you could actually set up the CoCo in BASIC to allow BASIC programs to run through the Bitbanger port. And people could log in your computer and do whatever they want, or you can make it a remote terminal in your own house if you wanted to, for disk BASIC. So he originally thought it was that because it is playing around here. You can see the story 16A story X16B, which is one of the vectors that BASIC uses.
Okay.
So he was trapping that. Basically, what the code is doing is it's taking the original vector that BASIC itself sets up, making a copy of it in his own routine that he loads in, and then his own routine then jumps through back to where BASIC would have gone in the first place. So this code is inserting itself into BASIC itself. But I guess he did some fiddling around. He figured that wasn't it. So now he doesn't have a clue. So now he was actually asking for some help on see if anybody can go through and figure it out here.
Oh, it looks like we got a response from
Looks like Williams
Astle.
added in a response. which I haven't read yet. But
Okay.
anyway, it's a pretty interesting thing, and he's actually got quite a few of these sheets lying around, I guess. So expect more of these to show up on his blog of mystery code that he's had lying around for decades. So
Fallout for the mystery code.
I've actually got a few of these myself. I should probably do the same thing. I've also got old maps I found from some of the old games. Like I had mapped out Rad Warrior and I'd mapped out Gates of Delirium and
loser. Excuse me. Sorry, something in my throat.
Yeah.
So
you're saying there's going to be plenty more sheet to come out later.
Yeah. Look forward to more sheet on this show.
yeah, Alan's just full of sheet, so it's. Hey, Ed Snyder here decided to do some experimenting because he doesn't have enough to do.
No.
So he's making another run of CoCo keyboards, and he thought he'd try black keycaps. Now, unfortunately, whatever pigment, as he points out in the poster, whatever pigment they used did not lend itself to high contrast color change via the fiber laser. He's got lasers, as I'd hoped. How well things mark is highly dependent on the formulation of the plastic. So the shots you're seeing here, which actually are fairly easy to see, is because he's lighting it at an angle and you can kind of see. But if you're looking at it dead on, it's kind of hard to see.
That's cool. So cool. It's like a stealth keyboard, so they're kind of engraved, so they're not colored in. But you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the D&D dice. So just get a white crayon and you can color in those things. So
yeah, you could. Or you could just buy a bunch of really intense LEDs, maybe insert them inside of each key, and maybe it'll glow through like Dave's does.
No, I like this though. I think it's cool. I'm thinking, this would be cool. Now you got the blackout keyboard. We got the blackout CoCo SDC. Black is beautiful. So
and if you take some of the original D&E board CoCo ones, if you rubble the gray paint off, they're black underneath too. So.
Yeah.
The later ones I think were white, weren't they? The F boards.
I bet you could spray those with something and then wipe the high parts off, leaving the whatever you spray it with in the grooves.
Yeah.
With radium.
And I do like that Ed now, like where he's manufacturing the actual CoCo keyboards himself, actually put a self-portrait of himself on the keyboard.
Cylon for the win.
Yeah. He's trying to compete with the Nick Marotta cuteness factor here.
Yes. We'll pull that up real quick just for everyone to see there. So yeah, that's good. So,
next up, Bart van den Akker of the Home Computer Museum in the Netherlands. He has this little thing with the museum where he does like a computer of the day, and this one he posted, of course, is the CoCo 64K CoCo in North America, the Color Computer 2 in Australia and in Europe, which is the original full-size case, but with the white melted keyboard and the white casing. And as he mentions here, today's computer of the day is a special one. It's the very first computer of Bart, the founder of the museum. It's a Tandy Tierceti Color Computer 2. Mind you, the U in color is here. So it's properly spelled.
Color.
And then he kind of goes and describes a little bit of what it was, but we've seen it on some of the videos.
It sounds like you're saying the word color, but with the U in it.
Actually, so that was the computer of the day featured on the site.
Very nice.
Next up, Todd Wallace has done basically a version of Dur now for Nitrous 9 because he's been learning assembly language Nitrous 9 as he was learning about fonts before. So his new Dur is actually an MS-DOS style Dur that actually prints out if you're familiar with running DOS. The fields are in the same order.
Directory, a folder in parentheses or brackets there. Yeah, Dur.
Yeah. The free space on your drive is an option at the end because it's a lot slower doing it under OS 9 because of the way the directory map is done.
Okay.
Or the bitmap for the sectors, I should say. So on a full-size CoCo SDC, it can take like 5 to 10 seconds just to calculate that. So you get this nice Dur, and then it pauses and thinks for a while and then comes through and prints that. So it's an option flag he's got. But it looks kind of nice. And, of course, he's using his CGA-based font that he did as well.
Yeah.
So it really looks like an MS-DOS machine.
Yeah, yeah. That is cool.
Yeah, and he's actually got it up for download. So if anybody wants to insert that onto their Nitrous 9 ease of use or a regular Nitrous 9 image and use that Dur instead of the stock ones or the other 3 or 4 that we've got as options.
Dragon Bites is in the chat. He says, I'm trying to optimize the speed of this free space routine, though, so it can be default later. There you go.
Yeah, I know him and William Ast have been going back and forth in some ways to do that, and I suggested you could use the fact that the CoCo 3 gives you an 8K data area in Nitrous 9 no matter what you actually ask for. And because this is CoCo 3 specific, he doesn't have to worry about trying to run on level 1. So he could like buffer in a good chunk of the thing and then just zip through it in RAM, and then instead of reading one sector at a time, which is slower. So
Neat.
keep an eye
I
on
love that
project.
font. I love that IBM font.
Yeah, and it's got most of the graphic characters. So if you wanted to port a DOS game, I mean, there's most of them there, and the few that are missing, you could create a second font that you could just switch to if you need those, the happy faces and stuff. But all the line drawing and crosshatch, fill in stuff, all that stuff's there.
I see David Ladd Snipes game in the future network.
Yeah, David Ladd, get on that. Next up, now Stevie, I think you probably know more about this because I haven't been able to get into Discord much, and I saw that you guys were talking on there a few times. That Richard has officially announced that as of this Monday, coming up in 2 days, June 22nd, the CoCo SDC board that he's manufacturing, because Ed, of course, is so busy with GimeX and CoCo VJ manufacturing and a ton of other projects, making mini MPIs, mini MPIs, MC10 boards, everything else. We needed a second source for what is the most required third-party piece of hardware for any of the CoCos. So now we have a second source. As of Monday, you can order them from Richard. He's going to be selling them with cases, and they're not with cases right now. The case version will be coming out in middle of July, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll be able to sell that as a package. Did you have anything further to add, Stevie, from talking
Not
to
really.
him?
He announced this on the show, too, that he was intending to do this, but now it's official. I believe he had mentioned earlier that David Ladd was going to be a source for 3D printed cases, and I'm assuming David is maybe just not ramped up for production yet, which is why this first run will be board only. I don't know if David's here, if he can speak to that, to when he'll be able to...
Due to issues with my 3D printing, I have not gotten anywhere for printing.
Yeah.
So printer's not working correctly yet.
Okay. Are you the only
Now-
source for cases for him, David?
That is something you'll have to ask him. So
John Strong used to make cases for this.
And I'm sure he
I
still
wonder if
does.
that
You
would-
could, but I think as far as Richard selling them with cases, I think his original intent was to get those cases from David.
Right.
Probably in bulk, and then just send them out with. The
But
orders.
yeah, you can get your cases from wherever you get your cases, right? There's ones on Thingiverse if you've got your own printer where you can print your own case. John Strong sells a standard and deluxe case, so you could reach out to John. I don't know if you have this in the news article too, but I think Neil Blanchard also just posted recently that he's got some CoCo SDCs for sale with cases and a handful of colors.
Multiple colors.
A handful of
I just
colors.
found that.
Oh, okay. No, I missed that one. So.
And just one thing to add, the Thingiverse, you don't necessarily have to have your own 3D printer. There are some people that will print them for you.
Okay, there you go. So yeah.
Oh, good.
So there you have it. So yeah, there are ways to get cases, but I guess in this first initial offering, these will be sans case until the whole board of case distribution can be worked out. I consider myself lucky for two reasons. Number one, I love how the black board looks, and I have right now the extra clear acrylic case that David Ladd sent me. That was the Tim Lindner first run of the two pieces of the clear acrylic. I think this black board would look super cool in a clear case, so I'm going to order one of just the board anyways because I want to be able to see that black board in the clear case.
Cool.
Yeah.
So he'll be selling them for $58 just for the board, and then the complete mid-July one with the SDC case around it will be $75. Cases will come in black, primary, and also white, blue, and purple as special orders.
Okay. Very nice.
I posted a link to Neil's Facebook post also about his CoCo SDC.
Did Neil say how many he's got available? Like, is he just cleaning out stock, or is he?
No, he's ramping up. It sounds like.
I don't know I don't know any specifics were mentioned. I think he said something like DM me if you're interested. So as far as the particulars, it's one of those secret handshake type things. You got to reach out.
The more source for these, the better. Cause it's
absolutely. And the good thing about Neil having some, he's in Canada. So obviously if you're in Canada, he's your best bet there to cut down on shipping, right? Because he can keep it all in
cost
state.
and time both, especially with the border being slowed down right now.
Shipping time and shipping cost, right?
And as Richard mentioned on the show here, he's got the unique color of the circuit board to help separate his from Ed, so you can tell which version you have, though they're compatible with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking I might get my second one I order. I might have that one set up to be a Dragon one too, because I'm getting close to unboxing the Dragon. So.
Yeah, I will warn you, Dragon DOS, as Nick Marentes has discovered lately, is quite different than Disk Basic.
Okay.
Next up, this is actually could be a mini discussion topic here. So Michael Pitsley put up the question in Facebook. There's so many different apps, games, utilities, demos, and other things on the SDC image. Of course, the ultimate SDC image that quite a few of us have. Way too many to see it all. I'm looking for your opinion on the best CoCo 3 demo. And then we didn't have the big demo scene on the CoCo like, the Amiga and the C64 and some of the other machines had. So the ones that he starts talking about here that he's seen already is the Radio Shack Christmas demo with, Santa and the truck and everything else. And then, of course, the original demo from Radio Shack when the CoCo 3 was first released.
That was the Spectral Associates one, right? With the bouncing ball and the...
Yeah, that's this one right here that Chad Edward posted a link to the video here.
Okay.
And then Sierra, of course, made their generic Christmas one that would work on any of the Sierra engines, and that's been ported thanks to EM Major. And then, of course, the 3D
Ray Trace demo,
which we've shown on the Nitrous 9 EOU is one of the ones, but it's also available for Disk Basic as well. And then there's been a link to Simon's, of course, the one from CoCo Fest. And then I think I'd mentioned a few like Sock Master as, bouncing ball, and he's got his, the graduating characters that go off into the distance, and his Moon Patrol demo.
Yeah. Even the Matrix one is pretty cool.
Yeah. There's bouncing balls from, Steve Bjork's done one. I might do that one for the CoCo 1 and 2. Von Cato did some before Sockmaster did. Kevin Darling did the one that's in the Nitrous 9 ease of use. RemTube is that 3D texture mapping demo and a Wolfenstein 3D demo, and also a sprite scrolling demo where the sprites are flying around the screen, the whole screen scrolling around. Plus there's that sprite library that had a good demo built into it. So that was some of the other ones I've seen. John Linville's Video Player is another one. Ed Snyder's had a few good demos too. Is there any other demos, or is there any demo out of all of these that some people here as a brief discussion topic would think is the best one to show off the CoCo 3?
Now, I know Paul Fiscarelli, even though it's a playable game, Paul Fiscarelli considers Run Dino Run to be a demo, because they want to demo how you could have multi-voice sound and still have enough CPU left over to build a game around it. So that's kind of a demo as well, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess that would kind of qualify, yeah.
You know what I would love to see? I don't know that it exists, but these were really popular, were the various aquarium screensavers. It'd be kind of cool just to have some random fish swimming from side to side and the background watercolor kind of...
You just figured out your assembly topic there, Steve.
So
there was one done in BASIC quite a while ago. I do remember seeing with the bubbles and stuff.
Yeah, and like you can have the background change from day to night and stuff just by palette shifting between blue and black.
Yeah, the old After Dark style.
Yeah. That would be kind of
cool. If we're going to have that, I want the flying toasters.
Flying toasters.
Anyway, if you guys have any suggestions for him, any demos that
I think you ran off a really good list already. Are all those lists, all those ones you verbally listed in the comments of this thread here?
Not all of them. I was actually coming up the list just before the show here.
Yeah,
I think I threw one in here yesterday, but
did we mention the Gloom 3D demo?
Nope, that's another one. The one that started the whole 3D. You can do 3D graphics on a CoCo in real time.
That was the one that Sockmaster did, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so go ahead and if you got any YouTube video links for him to check out to see what they look like as a preview, or just to tell him, try this image on the Ultimate STC.
Let him try it. Yeah, I tell you, another kind of neat feature is on the CoCo Pi, the attract mode, where you can have a CoCo just run through different cartridges as a demo. That's pretty cool too. I know that's not on a real CoCo, but I think that's a cool demo just to have running. And there's one for the CoCo 3 that runs through a large library of Rondell Vaux's high color images that he converted. And so to run through kind of like a slideshow of these high color pictures as a demo is kind of cool as well.
Actually, the high color is a good demo as well, just to show, if you start doing hardware tricks, you can get, 4,000 color pictures on it. Twilight Terminal, I guess, is kind of a demo in a way too, to show, 20 color text and stuff as well.
Neat.
Also, maybe it'll encourage some people to help, write some demos and go, I haven't seen a demo that does this. And
right. Well, how about Simon Jonason's CoCo Fest demo?
That actually was one of the ones that was mentioned.
All right. There you go.
And that one, actually, Simon commented on that down here. He goes, I still need to finish it.
Okay, cool.
And then the last one here, I'll just mute for a little bit. You guys can watch the whole thing. The next episode 3 of the CoCo Collector by Boise Pete, has been put out just last night.
Okay.
And this one features a CoCo 3 that Marty Goodman used to own, and then Tim Linder had rescued a bunch of stuff because Marty was clearing out a bunch of things. And it's one of the ones he's hacked the living crap out of here. As you can see, he's got an external keyboard in a wooden case. He's got
work.
Wow.
This is typical Marty. If you've ever been to Marty's house, all of his computers are like this.
Look at that ribbon cable.
Yeah, he connected the 10-pin RGB from the bottom to the side over there on the left-hand side. There it is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it actually roots in, and then you can unplug the RGB monitor on the side instead of to lift up your CoCo, especially if it's hooked up to a multi-pack.
That's the predecessor to the Kookaburra cable, right? Wasn't that just the?
That's the Wallaby.
Wallaby cable. Okay, yes.
Well, the Kookaburra is the extension. You can do it with that too, but
Yeah.
the Wallaby people use their Wallaby cable for that purpose also.
Yeah. He's got a performance peripherals older 512K upgrade still in there.
Okay.
The keyboard connector is actually not just the keyboard either. The reset switch is actually routed through it. And if you look on the front of the wooden keyboard, there's a little recess switch you can hit for the reset switch. So he actually demonstrates hitting Control-Alt and hitting the front reset, and it does the
How much set could a reset set if a reset could reset?
And of course, being Marty Goodman, he reprogrammed the picture on the on the Three Amigos, so it's no longer the Three Amigos at all. I'm just going to find that. Oh, here's the reset switch here.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, right.
So maybe can you guys hear that?
No.
Nope.
I don't know if you're sharing system sound with the video, but that's fine.
Okay.
Here we go. So there's the HDB DOS. He's got the capture running through. Oh,
that's the reset.
What the hell is that? Freaking
bugs.
Bugs.
That's a typical Marty Goodman sense of humor thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Those computer
reset is to
bugs.
get out of having a computer bug crash your machine, so he puts bugs up as his screen.
Okay.
Anyway, the whole series that he's been doing here, this is a series I really do look forward to every time an episode comes out, because he's demonstrating standard machines, but he's also got these weird kinked up ones that people have customized. He's got prototypes coming up that almost nobody's ever seen in real life. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series. Anyway, it's a 10-minute video, so he's got a fair bit of information there. He does some tests on it to make sure everything's working, runs a RAM test on it. And basically everything in this one is working fine. And one other thing he pointed out, and this is typical of Marty Goodman, because was always hardware hacking back in the day, is that when he received the machine, it has not a single screw in it, and probably hasn't in decades. Because having to take the screws out to take the case off just slows Marty down.
That's it. Yeah.
3 out of my 4 CoCos are exactly the same. No screws.
Just pull the top right off. Easy access.
Yep.
Where can we find this?
It's on Boise's channel. The CoCo Collector.
CoCo Collector. Yeah.
I believe the link was posted in the live chat.
Link was just posted in the live chat.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Also, too, I'm sure he will not do it with this one here, but his 2 previous episodes where he did a CoCo 1 and a CoCo 2, he has now put them for sale out on eBay. And he references them saying, here's the CoCo as seen on episode 1 and episode 2.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I think I saw him pop up yesterday on eBay.
I know he has a ton of CoCos, and I thought he was actually collecting, but maybe he's kind of feeling a little guilty that a lot of people are trying to find, especially CoCo 3s these days. On eBay, they're getting darn hard to find for a reasonable price.
Okay. That's cool.
And that is the end of the regular news. As I said, a short news week.
Well, thank you, Boise, for doing that. Very, very cool. Well, how about we take another break before we get into the Game On section, and Nick Marotta, just so we know, like right after the break, we're just going to go straight into our usual way that we start Game On.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way we've done it the last couple of weeks.
Yep. That's the plan. Well, thank you all for being here. We hope you're enjoying the show so far. That concludes news. Thank you, Curtis Boyle, for procuring and delivering the news for us this week and every week. We feel very well informed, thanks to you, sir. So we're going to run another commercial break. Let's see. I've got so many choices, and I'm just not sure which one to do. How about we just do, you know what?
You won't go very far, Fletcher.
We gotta run some Fletcher. We're gonna run some Fletcher, and we'll be back with Game On.
Always dependable.
That's it. Hey, Grant Leedy's returned. Hey, Grant, everything come out okay?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Fletcher, I don't need that report tomorrow.
Great, JT.
I need it tonight. But JT...
Fletcher saved $300 on her office away from the office. Radio Shack's revolutionary Model 100 computer. It's a word processor, phone directory, and dialer. It even communicates with the office computer.
Fletcher, how's that report? Fletcher.
Radio Shack's Model 100. Save $300 and put it to work.
There it is.
Shit. God dang it. I just screwed up on the commercials. Hold on, guys. I got too many buttons to press now here. This is technology for you.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Fletcher, I don't need that report tomorrow.
Great, JT.
I need it tonight.
But JT...
Fletcher saved $300 on her office away from the office. Radio Shack's revolutionary Model 100 computer. It's a word processor, phone directory, and dialer. It even communicates with the office computer.
Fletcher, how's that report? Fletcher.
Radio Shack's Model 100. Save $300 and put it to work.
You'll go far, Fletcher. You'll go far.
And now, CoCo Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. On holidays, Uncle JT would entertain us with stories of his business conquests and his assistant who would meet any deadline that he imposed, no matter how ridiculous. Well, until she shot him in the face, that is.
Hi, this is the award-winning Alan Huffman of Subetha Software, and you're watching Stevie Fall Off Cliffs.
What's going on, guys? Stevie Stroh here, and I want to say thank you so much for being part of this adventure with us. It's been such a great experience in doing CoCoTALK every week, and the support we get is just amazing. And so the fact that you watch and listen is all the reward that we need. However, if you would like to become a patron of the show and offer some financial assistance towards the production and hosting costs of the show, we do have a Patreon site available for that, and you can reach that by going to our website at CoCoTalk.live and clicking on the Patreon link. But just do us a favor and watch and listen to the show.
Hey there, I'm Marco Roser, and you're watching CoCoTALK.
This is not the Joey cereal switch. This is the Joey cereal switch. Control up to 3 cereal devices. Order yours today at cocoman.biz.
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Right! This Christmas, Tandy has a very special offer. A family color computer pack to take away at a very special price. This family computer comes complete with software and costs an incredible $449, a saving of $241.69. It's powerful, educational, and ideal for the young and young at heart. The easy way to start computing. The Color Computer Family Pack from Tandy. Get it while it's hot. Tandy, the biggest electronic store in Australia.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tim. Playing Dagger like that idiot from the book. You're watching CoCoTALK.
And now, CoCo Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. In Galagon, the battle begins.
High Score Challenge.
Damn National Geographic.
All right, guys. Hello. Welcome to the GameON Challenge results. We had another fantastic week. Thank you all. We played Galagon. Alan Murphy, 40-40. Mark Bosley, 40-70. Wayne Aaron, 15-560. Rogelio, 15-780. David O'Connor, 16-570. David Ladd, 16-970. David Croker, 17-110. Paul Shoemaker, 21-020. Kenny Color Computer 3, 23-480. Redbeard, 25,000. Mr. Dave, 26-5. Mark Overhoser, 35-390. Ken Reichart, 41-900. Canadian Retro Things, 44-400. Me, 48-100. Tom C, 48-460. Frodo 49,390, Jim Rye 52,860, John Laurie 54,400, OG Stevie Stroh 55,150, Bryza 64,370, Alpin Greg 71,310, L. Curtis Boyle 84,470, Diego 110,160, Adam Tandy 119,590, and Tasman, the winner this week with 285,110. And Tasman was a new entry this week, along with a couple of others that were asterisked in the list. So yeah, thank you very much. That was so thank you all for your participation. It was a great. Sorry,
that was a great score.
I'm in the top 15.
Yeah. You are. Yeah. Special shout out to Mark O, who took part this week. It's very rare that he does that, so thank you. And yeah, no, it was a great spread of scores. And yeah, 285. I'm gonna take control.
Frodo NL was saying, I see that video was made before my latest score.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, I did see David made a mistake with his score. David Ladd shouldn't have David Ladd shot for a 60-40 score.
Yeah, sorry for the inaccuracy there. Occasionally they slip through. I apologize.
Another great shoot 'em up.
So here's a review from Rainbow where they gave it a good review. They appreciated the rather brilliant artifact colors available in the P Mode 4.
Yeah, it works great in Australia.
And this was a high score back in the day in Rainbow. This was one of the later scores for the game, 1,306,000.
Wow.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
So here's some gameplay video from Tasman. I know one of the things he said was, even though this was one of the strategies in the game and that made it really unique, was the ability to have your ship captured and then double up. But the only issue with that is then you become a huge target.
Yeah.
So for the purposes of the score, he did not do that. And this is just gameplay of him showing how you can still clear the challenge stage with just one ship. This is the first challenge stage.
Insane.
All right.
That was a technique I used to, even with the double ship, is to kind of follow them around instead of just sitting in one spot shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that too.
Actually, it's important to move because they seem to target you. And so if you sit in one spot, if you're moving when they fire, that's kind of late. So there's a better chance of not being hit.
That's insane. I can't do that with two ships.
No, same here.
I hate when it targets sorry, I'm trying to get to the next tab. So
that was cool.
Yeah, so any thoughts from the game? It seemed to be a popular choice. A lot of people seem to enjoy it.
What were the total number of participants? Because you started talking on the scores because I guess there wasn't enough lead up time. But what was the total?
Well, officially before the deadline we had 26, but we also had a late entry by Brian Weisler as well. So we had 27 this week.
Okay, that's a good week then, right?
Oh yeah. We're routinely hitting in the 20s now, which I think is fantastic.
To quote my favorite catchphrase now, is that our new normal?
It's the new reality. It's the post-COVID world. In these challenging times.
Okay.
And any other catchphrase you want to use.
Oh, I love it.
I planned on spending a lot more time playing that. I was really enjoying it, but I sort of got
so here's
occupied with a lot of other things.
And I was talking to Tom C about this, right? So obviously this is a clone of the arcade game. The difference here is that it has to be modified for the 4x3 CoCo screen. Where in the arcade, a lot of these games they turn the monitor long way, so it was a taller screen. So while the gameplay mechanics are almost identical as far as the pattern formations and whatnot, in the arcade you had a little bit more vertical space between the formation and yourself, so they weren't on you as quickly. You had more time to get to move around. So that's one of the reasons why this one is a little bit harder, is it plays just like the arcade and about 3/4 of the vertical resolution of the original arcade, right? So similar thing to do with like Donkey Kong, where they had to squeeze it down, you know. But no, this to me is probably like Donkey King, just one of those games where they just captured all the pieces of the game And you know, and I always wondered how did, even like when we were playing Lunar Rover Patrol, you know, all the levels and the changes and the difficulty and all those little things. The only way they could have done that is those guys had to play the real games over and over again and just take notes or do recordings or do something to manually. Nowadays, you can just dump the ROM, right? And you can look at the source code and you can get all the artwork and assets and all those things. But back then, these guys had to rebuild this is like a Michelangelo. And they had to basically repaint a Michelangelo from scratch, you know?
So I wonder how faithful the challenge stage patterns were to the arcade. Because I think Tasman said there were 5 challenge stages patterns that then repeat. And I know the first one looks the way I remember it from the arcade.
Yeah.
At least the first couple are the same from when I was playing.
Yeah. I mean, we have to assume, because I don't know if we can speak to the authors, but how else could you have known how the levels changed and how the difficulty ramped up and how the patterns changed and the formations changed and all those things? They just had to have played the game or watched people play the game, because it's going to get to be expensive, right? So maybe they just hung out in the arcades and just looked over the shoulders of people, you know. But you kind of, back then, that's the only way I can imagine it, you know, is that you just had to.
Plus, given arcades, you had the high scoreboards on the machines, and a lot of the people in those arcades knew each other, whoever were on the high scoreboard. So if you were looking to make a game at the time, you could actually go grab those high scoreboards, find those folks while they're playing, and start asking them, hey, come check this out on this machine, and tell us whether it's close or not. So there's a lot of, you know, early video game consulting that went on.
That's one possibility for sure.
Yeah, I remember talking to Dave Dyes when he was doing some of his clones back in 85, 86, 87, and he actually did take a tape recorder and a video recorder to the arcade. He usually couldn't play it himself because, as he said, you can't play it at the same time you're trying to record it.
Right.
So he'd have some friends that were really good at the games, and he would just record and try to figure out the patterns, etc. And I think Nick Marentes, you mentioned like for Pac-Man, your Pac-Man tribute, I think you actually went to the arcade to record the original sounds on that too, didn't you?
Yeah. I actually took a cassette player and let someone else play, and I just recorded them. Did you get that?
Yeah. So today you could have brought
sorry, I was recording you on my cassette recorder. I couldn't respond as quickly. So,
And I only asked that question because I just wanted to make sure Nick was still awake, because we haven't heard from him all show.
Well, you did wake me up.
We had to translate the answer to English. So,
from what I've seen, the patterns are pretty accurate.
Yeah, it does seem pretty accurate.
Yeah, and at level 10, the aliens basically double in speed, which I'm trying to remember if the arcade did that, but I think they did. I think it actually did ramp it up. I remember.
Now, this video you're showing was the first live stream we did, which was like Saturday night or Sunday night or something. And I did this one on my CoCo Pi on a normal CoCo 2. Later on, I ended up playing in a CoCo 3 in the double speed mode on the high speed poke. And because the game was frame locked like a lot of other games, it didn't make the game go faster, but it made you feel like you had a little bit more fluidity in your control, as far as movements and response and stuff. So I think the high speed poke is a nice thing to do when you can do it.
I like to have video playing while we're talking about it. And I also wanted to mention too that quite often you do a gameplay, usually on a Saturday night. But if anybody's hanging around on a Saturday and wants to join in, a few people get together and play and have their screenshots going, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
there's a few tips and tricks good flying across there too.
Yeah.
Now, Stevie, if I remember, when you originally ran it on your CoCo Pi, you were having some problems with it. Kept unmapping joystick buttons. And stuff like
and
that.
I'm not sure if that's a CoCo Pi thing or if it's the latest MAME thing. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
So it's still a problem at this point?
I have been so busy this week that I haven't had a chance to play anything all week, so I couldn't tell you. But I know over the weekend it was definitely a challenge for me. So I'm not sure. Verdict still out. I remember posting some messages in the Emulator channel on Discord, and I think Tim Linder had mentioned that there was a few things he had discovered. Like in the CoCo 3 emulation, there's 2 buttons for the CoCo 3 joysticks, but they're both labeled button 1, where it should be like button 1 and button 2, or button 0 and button 1. I had also noticed in the CoCo emulation, if I tried to configure both buttons on a CoCo 3, then neither button would work, even if I mapped them to 2 different buttons on my joypad. So I think there might be some joystick tomfoolery going on in MAME 0.22 or whatever it is. So, or 2.1, whatever the most current version was in June when we baked this Cocoa Pie image. But I know there's going to be some updates coming. And one of the things that we didn't mention when we were talking about the Cocoa Pie, but one of the nice features of this latest update, this June build, is there is a live update feature from the utilities menu. So there's a GitHub repository built in. So whenever updates are needed, you can just go to the utility menu, go to updates, and it'll download and extract the latest version of MAME. And then you can go into another utility menu to select which version of MAME you want to run. You can actually downgrade your different versions of MAME in the Cocoa Pie because it's keeping like a half a dozen different versions running.
Knowing how unstable MAME builds are, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So if there's an update, the latest Cocoa Pie image is kind of self-correcting with just a few menu options. So or self-updating, I should say.
And actually, we had another interesting development this week with the game. It was discovered that there was a version that supported the speech sound pack.
Yeah.
So Bryza actually went through his collection of games and found a handful of games that were speech sound enabled. And so he posted those in our Facebook channel.
And they started showing up in the Color Computer Archive too.
On the archive as well. So Galagon was one of them, and there's a few others that support Quicks, I believe, was one of them. And
I'll mention the games on the GameON news segment because that's one of my stories. So
sorry about that. Okay, perfect. Fine. So thanks, Bryza, for taking care of that, and we're still discovering new things, which is it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I do remember Ravemo advertised they'd upgraded a whole bunch of their games, like probably close to a dozen of them with the sound speech pack. Now most of the time it was just speech, which wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, I think most of the versions, the free ones that were flying around at the time, I think were based on the original runs, and people just didn't bother getting the new versions for the most part at the time because they already had a working game. So it's really nice that Bryce actually found the second versions that came out with sound and speech support.
Yeah, you know what's ironic? Most of the games. Sorry, Neo, I didn't mean to interrupt. Most of the games that support, we'll just say the speech pack, because they hardly ever support the sound part of it.
Yeah.
Most of the speech is really like a novelty. You know, it doesn't really serve the game too well. It's a level 1 game over, nice high score. But there's a few games where the speech really made sense. So one of them was Gauntlet, right? Because in the arcade game, Gauntlet talked. But a game I am surprised nobody's made was why wasn't there a version of Berserk that supported the speech sound pack? Because that's what the frickin' game sounded like in the arcade, was a frickin' Cylon. You know what I mean? So it's like we need to get a speech-enabled Berserk.
I think in the case of Berserk, Spectral did have Android Attack, and the 32K version before the speech pack was ever released by Tandy was already talking with software synthesis.
Yeah.
And I think they just figured, we already have it talking. So
yeah. I hear you, but to me that seems like the most logical choice would to be make a Berserk style game for the speech sound pack.
Well, considering the original Android Attack only. Oh, go ahead.
Well, that's your other assembly project, Steve.
Okay, we'll get right on that.
I was just going to mention, like Android Attack had two versions. They had a 16K version which did not have the speech, and then they had a 32K version which had the software speech. Because the sound speech pack would have so much lower programming overhead, you could probably make a talking version for 16K if you based it on Android Attack.
Right, because the speech sound pack didn't require a lot of extra RAM. You were literally just sending text strings to the chip. So
pheromones, or whatever they call it.
Pheromones? Yeah, pheromones.
Yeah, not pheromones, sorry.
Yeah, pheromones.
Phenomes.
Yeah,
I learned something new today.
They're actually called phonemes, but sure.
Phonemes.
Pheromones was from Madame Rosa's Massage Parlor, a totally different game. Sorry.
And that will never be in the GameON challenge.
Come on now.
Right now. Despite the request.
I think whenever Leisure Suit Larry makes it to the challenge, the first person to get syphilis wins. So
that's when you Hulk out and turn green.
Yeah.
Stevie, you mentioned that you tried the high-speed poke on this one. I just sort of played around with it then just to see if it had, on my CoCo 3, did the 65497. Didn't really notice any difference.
Like I said, the game doesn't play any faster, but to me it feels like your movement is a little bit more responsive.
Feels like the joystick is more responsive.
Yeah,
when you're trying to move your ship around.
You don't shoot
the
any
joystick
faster.
sampling code will speed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I've got to directly compare it because I didn't I played it before and then I was just playing around with it then actually. But
when I tried it without, go ahead. When I tried the high-speed poke, it seemed really sluggish, very, very sluggish. And I put on the high-speed poke. The game didn't seem to move any faster, but the joystick response seemed better.
Yeah. And the game like skiing, like that's another one where I'd optimize with 639, same situation there where the game itself, like your time to make it to the end of the course is the same as it would be normally. But because it actually refreshes the graphics a little bit faster, has more time to sample the joysticks before the next frame lock. So that, it does tend to smooth them out a bit without increasing the speed of the game itself.
And there you have it.
So yes, thank you again for a fantastic response to this game. I'm always very encouraged when engages a lot of people from the community. So thank you.
Absolutely, a great game. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Just lacked all the artifact colors here in Australia. It looks rather ordinary without them. Running on my screen in the background there.
So did it look like stripes to you, or did it have the bizarre purple and green?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. You can see it in the background in my shot now. I've actually got it running.
Oh,
it's running on a PAL. It's running on PAL.
Talk again so we can see your screen.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if you because it's highlighted on my sharing probably.
Well, let me just spotlight you. Okay, now we got you. I got you. You're spotlighted.
Yeah, so they're all sort of there's no, especially the scores. The scores are difficult to read because they're not blue or green. I mean, sorry, blue or red.
Yeah,
it's just this sort of font, and it proved challenging to take a screenshot where it actually clearly showed the high scores. So.
I'm assuming that the Dragon PAL version would have had the option for the green background for color and the PMO 3 versions of it too, which I imagine it probably wouldn't look too bad because these look more like pure artifacts, except for some of those split shifts, split into 3. Those would have looked like crap. But
well, Curtis, didn't some games have a hidden key if you push the clear?
Yeah, home or clear or something. Yeah, that was mostly Tandy stuff though.
Yeah, mostly Steve Bjork stuff, to be honest.
Yeah. No, Rick Adams had it too in Temple of Rome.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he forgot that it was there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel better that I forgot too.
Okay, you see that thing that just showed there, Nick? Pause the video right there. Okay. So one of the things I discovered that I thought was a bug, it turns out is a feature, is that when you're getting picked up, you have if while the ship is picking you up and you fire one last shot and you kill the thing that's picking you up, your ship flies off the screen, like it goes to the top of the screen and then it leaves the screen. And when that happened to me, I thought I lost a life because I killed this ship that was picking me up. What happens then is on the next round, your ship comes back above another one of those dragonfly things. So I don't remember that happening in the arcade, but a lot of people chimed in saying, yeah, no, that was in the arcade too. So just another nuance that they cloned so well. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like when you get picked up and you shoot the thing that's picking you up.
Yeah, does that happen?
Yeah, no, it happened to me several times.
You can actually have your own ship attack you too if you shoot it at the exact wrong time. It'll still come down and attack you.
Well, if you kill the Galagon that has your ship, then your ship becomes an enemy, right?
Yes. When it's before it starts diving on you, when it's still up in the top formation, if you shoot the kind of carrier bug, that has the host bug, then your ship becomes an enemy. Yeah. But the opposite of that is that you can actually shoot the thing that, as your ship is going up that tractor beam, if you shoot the bug that's tractoring you, you kill the bug, your ship leaves the screen, you lose a life. If you make it to the next wave, your ship will come back with on top of another bug, and you get a chance to get it back.
So it should happen.
So I thought it was a bug, and turns out that's a feature because that was in the arcade too.
Cool. I'd never tried that.
See, right now, it just happened. It just happened again, right? So I just shot the ship that was shooting me, and I got sucked off the screen.
Oh,
right?
neat.
So
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
And it changes blue, and when
changes blue.
If you do shoot it and it turns it into enemy, it turns that orange color when it attacks you.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Oh, so because you didn't live, you didn't get to see it, but had another life.
Yeah, had another life and made it to another round.
Would have been there.
On the next wave. If you make it to a subsequent wave, it comes back.
Right. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so that was a nuance that was in the arcade that they also managed to clone. So like I say, they had to have studied this game to figure out every little detail to bring that in.
Yeah, well, the Keaton brothers did really good on all the clones they did. I mean, like Lunar Rover Patrol, Galagon, Buzzard or not Buzzard Bait, Lancer. Actually no, Lancer was by somebody else. Sorry, but the ones that they did Storm Arrows, Whirlybird Run, Scramble was by them too. So I mean, they did a lot of playing of the arcade, or at least watching somebody and very closely studying the patterns and order of things, etc.
Yeah, very
they
cool
had
stuff.
A pickup truck and the key to the back door of the arcade.
I mean, if you think about it, if these companies like Spectral Associates had the wherewithal, they could have bought an arcade game and had it there and just had their developers access it 24/7. Here's the machine. Go to town. Make us the best possible clone ever, And it just so happens that these guys were doing it all from home, and just like look at Chris Latham, the spot on Donkey Kong and spot on Popeye game clone that he made at home. You know what I mean? So.
Unfortunately, I can say in Spectral's case, particularly the owner of it, I think it was Tom Rosenbaum, was notoriously cheap, so that would never would happen for them.
But. But
I think I heard the same thing about Tandy.
There were books about video games that detailed a lot of the arcade games.
Okay.
So they might have just read a book.
Yeah, there were like a lot of cheat books that told you certain, like there was the Pac-Man pattern ones were infamous, right? So, yeah, that's another possibility. Because we didn't have the internet back then. Al Gore had not invented it yet. So
no,
that just seems so
weren't
less
quite up to snuff
exciting.
yet.
Yeah,
it's a series of tubes.
Speaking of which, does anybody remember calling the 1-900 numbers to get tips for the Sierra games? You had to pay like $4 a phone call to call those things to get one pre-recorded tip.
I knew I slightly dialed that number wrong. I got something totally different.
Or the Invisiclues,
not a 976 number, no.
Right? Or the Invisiclues books for the Infocom.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah.
The marker and the little window viewer to read just the one clue.
That was also
colored plastic or something, I think.
Wasn't that also to thwart piracy by having things in like that and you couldn't copy those easily?
I love it when you say thwart. It's so very rare we get to use the word thwart.
I was hoping to work that word into
You did. You did it well.
That's today's mystery word if you was playing at home.
That's right.
Do you have one of those calendars?
I'm not just another pretty face. I've also
So Nick Marotta, so much more than just a pretty face. So cool.
So I guess we beaten this one to death.
Anybody else want to chime in on that?
I think that's about it.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys. And so now we'll unveil next week's game. We're back to an original game. And this was actually a request by somebody. I'm going to see do you recognize what this is? Anybody?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
That's the Maze to Death Trap.
Yeah,
That's
Aaron, you were wondering about the Maze to Death Trap when you tried it on your stream, and he's in the chat right now. That was it.
Wow.
And you can actually materialize inside there. I've done that.
Okay, and what
he did
what
that
was
too actually during his stream.
And you just got to sit and wait for sweet.
And it
sweet
says
death.
end in there. It says end. You see the word end there?
Yeah.
The one
These guys
that
got
is
nothing
an
to do but to sit there.
insane maze. Where is this maze available? Is that on Curtis's website?
Yep.
Yes, this is off Curtis's website.
Okay.
Also, you can win the game too if you get all 4 of those diamond star things.
Okay.
You win the game.
And where are all the diamond star things? Are they selectively in every opposite corner of this godforsaken hellhole, or are they all together?
I would imagine pretty close to it. I've never done it. I just remember I read the manual, and it does mention that if you get all 4 stars, you win.
That makes me dizzy looking at it.
Yeah, and the thing that so I
were you talking? Sorry, I'll go back.
I'll go back to the picture. So there's a thing that looks like a multicolored arrow, a right arrow in that big like open triangle space. Is that just a whole bunch of pickups in one spot there?
Yeah.
Yep.
And what were the letters standing for? F was fuel, right?
Yep.
H
T's a
was
free
hyperspace.
Free tank.
M is a map.
M is a
D
map.
is death.
D is death, which you want to avoid, right? Question mark. We don't know what that is, right?
Random.
Question mark. It rotates through them all. It's randomly picked, and you might get, and that's extra points basically.
Extra points, and then that's the diamond, that diamond shaped thing.
That's the special one. You got to get the 4 of. To
And there's
complete
4 diamonds you have to locate. So if you look at this map, you can kind of see where the diamonds are and try to figure out some type of strategy to get the diamonds. This should be fun.
Looks like a CPU die.
It does.
It does too.
Right?
Yeah.
Holy crap! I'm going. Yeah, this is a freaking QR code.
Looks like a Stevie rage quit in the making.
Oh, this was a fun game. I just that theme music was boom.
This tank will drive down and then hit this D and then explode. So it's pretty. That's part of
And
the
now
game.
for people that have not played the game before, I want to mention too, there's also this pulsating blue square thing that tracks you down and can go through walls. Now you can outrun it, but like for example, if you're stuck in a bunch of long vertical corridors and he gets into the same corridor as you, the only way to get around him is to like drive right down to where you can switch corridors, wait for him to come right up next to you, and then turn the tank back on. You hold the joystick button to move, and then just quickly skirt around him. So you can get around him if you kind of get trapped. Unless, as Nick mentioned, you're trapped in the middle of a square, then you just have to wait for him to kill you.
Paul Fiscarelli says this looks like this is prime material for a bot. Death trap bot, huh? So,
and a pallet hack.
Yeah, the blue square would actually screw up the bot though, because you don't know where that's coming from at any given time. So
looks like a good multiplayer game.
Could be. Yeah.
I don't believe it is, but
no, it's single player.
Be.
Okay.
But it could be.
Death Trap Death Match.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because the goal in Death Trap is to get the 4 diamonds. I mean, having 2 players wouldn't really help, because as soon as one person got a diamond, the other person couldn't, unless
it's cooperative, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
or
you do it
if you
like
shot
Doom, where...
if you shot an opponent and he had diamonds, you get to pick him up. Like whatever he had in his possession, he dropped, and you could pick up his dropped items. That would kind of work too.
Also, the diamond could occur for each player. So if there's 4 players, there's 4 diamonds for that position.
Yeah. Okay.
And so whoever collects all 4 of them first could win the round.
Yeah. Neat.
Yeah. But it's a pretty good game. It ran in 16K in cassette. It has some really decent sound effects. It's got a huge friggin' maze, as you guys have seen.
It's horizontal and vertical scrolling, all software based. Obviously, no hardware based scrolling like on a gimme chip or anything.
I'll mention one other thing. The M map key. If you like, we've seen the master map there that Nick's been showing. The map square itself shows you a zoom up of just the portion of the map you're in, so you get to see more of the maze than you would normally, but you don't get to see the full thing. Just to let you know.
And you say you press M for map.
Well,
when you pick up the M, it shows you the map. You can't preemptively pull up that map on demand if you wanted to.
No.
Okay, so it's just a reward you get from time to time.
And that will show you like maybe 1/8 or 1/16 of the map or something like that.
Yeah, that map is freaking huge
in your local area.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thanks for picking this, Nick. I know I planted this seed a while ago asking for this game because I have fond memories of playing this game. The title music.
Oh, I enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
And it's by the Rugby Circle, which one of my favorite publishers. So
yeah. Oh, and
no, they did clones. This was an original game, as far as I know. Like this isn't based on anything, so it was, and it only came on the CoCo, as far as I know. Rugby Circle was more known for Model 1-3 games.
Okay, so this
they were
is
right?
Yep, and Color Caterpillar was another one, which is a Centipede clone.
Yeah. So there you go. There's our game for the week.
Thanks for picking that.
You are welcome.
Another lovely PAL artifact.
No, it's P mode 3.
This is P mode. This isn't P mode. So these are using real.
P mode
colors.
1 actually.
P mode 1.
Okay, the Puyan color set.
Yeah, Puyan colors.
It does use P mode. It does use artifacting colors when you're like hyperspacing, just to do as an effect.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can get to do some streaming of this tonight. This should be fun.
Yeah, and it's a good coincidence that you picked this one for this week, because literally the stream that Aaron just did last week, he was taking the game suggestions, and we did a few that he'd never seen before. This was one of them.
Okay.
Another one he had never seen before was Alien's Firecopter.
This would be interesting to see how this runs on the Color Computer 3 of double speed poke too.
I think this one actually does run at full speed, double speed. I don't think it actually frame locks. If I remember correctly.
Hey, we've been joined by Diego. Hey, Diego. Welcome, sir. I didn't see you sneak in on us there.
It was very quiet.
That's fine.
And this will work with palette hacks.
Yes. Oh yeah, is this in your game's menu disk? Because it should be.
No, not yet.
Okay, maybe we can hack that to get it onto the game's menu disk.
Yeah, when you do that, Nick, make sure you don't just use a standard P mode 4 artifact colors like the orange, blue, because that's what some of the effect screens do. That flash between them, and if you do that, then you won't even see a difference.
Right.
You have to pick some unique colors for the
background could be anything but white and not the ugly green too. But you could have like a dark blue background or that steel blue background you guys use on Lunar Rover Patrol. That's a cool color. Yeah, it's really up to the imagination. But yeah, that game is begging to be palette hacked.
And that wraps it up for my segment. Thank you.
Just trying it on the high speed poke now.
All right.
So you go. There you go. You have colors.
Colors.
Yep.
David has colors. No, that's important.
For color computer, yeah. It's kind of nice.
Definitely important. All right. So
It does run faster with high-speed poke.
Oh,
yes, it does. I was pretty sure they did.
Okay, so that might make it more interesting. Because I noticed that's the one where you noticed the vertical scrolling seemed smoother and less choppy because of just not having to do bit shifting, where the horizontal scrolling you could kind of see the ripple effect and how the screen was being moved around. So yeah,
where did that thing come from?
Yeah, we have GameON news too, right, L. Curtis?
Yep, we do.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead. And Curtis is not done, but that's cool. Thanks for that game of the week. Our next game, I'm looking forward to playing Death Trap, Nick.
You are
Marotta.
welcome.
Very cool.
And yes, I do take suggestions, so please, if you have any.
He takes suggestions and he encourages bribery.
I may take a while to get to them, but I do solicit them.
Yeah, he not only charges you for his autograph of his dreamy picture, but he actually charges you to get bribes in for the game on channel stuff. So. Nick is an expensive date. That's all I can say.
That little square thing that comes and gets you through walls is a little bugger.
Yeah. I will give you one tip on that because people may not have played this. One, when you can move your tank left, right, up, down with the joystick anytime. Moving the tank, you have to hold down the joystick button, which of course uses fuel. If you let go of the button, that blue square that comes after you will come after you like wicked fast. But if you're driving around with the tank, it actually slows it way down. So that's the way to do that.
Oh, nice tip.
Yeah. And Tom C. from Jersey's out there. Hey, Tom C. Aaron's out there in the live chat from Amigos Retro Gaming. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Frodo. Hey, Paul Fiscarelli. Hey, guys. All right, so what do we got for gaming news, L. Curtis Boyle?
Let me bring up you on screen here. There's not too many sites to hit this time. There's 4, but the Cuthbert Dragon site has been quite busy with a whole bunch of stuff. So let's share the screen. Still don't remember to click the sound.
You leaving us, Brian?
Yeah, I got family coming over for.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Hey, listen. When next time you're on, if you have anything you want to talk about, let us know at the top of the show so we can get you in, so you don't have to wait around all day.
Now, the only thing I got is who knows about the games from Simon Tatham? Basically, board games. There's a whole bunch of source code for a lot of those games, for like something like Gems and Inertia and stuff like that. Some wicked games that are addictive.
Are these CoCo games or just generic computer games, or
generic? You got the C code out on the internet. I actually have all the C code here.
Okay, because I know some people have been learning C lately on the Discord, so maybe that's something you could send them, and maybe they can actually work as a project to convert them.
Yeah,
I'll throw it up on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, throw it up in Discord too, because I know some people on Discord, especially the hardcore C programmers, aren't usually Facebook people.
Yeah, that'll probably be better. Cool.
All right, Brian. Sorry we missed you, but thanks for popping in.
Oh, no problem. Have a good day, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Later, Brian. Hey, so is this screen being shared?
It is being shared.
Okay. So first up, Marlon E added another CoCo video. And ironically, it's a game that I had not seen until a few weeks ago myself, because it was one of the ones I added to my games page just a few weeks ago. And it's by Spectral Associates. It's called Butterfly Patrol. Now, this game looks like it was written in BASIC. So it's a Moon Patrol style game written in BASIC. And, Marlon himself says it doesn't play that well, and I have to agree. But for a BASIC game, it's actually fairly impressive. Here's loading up tape.
Today we've got Butterfly Patrol for the color computer.
Sound coming through this time?
Yeah.
Pretty aptly named, I think, because I think if I played this game a lot, the guys in the nice white suits driving the nice white vehicle come by, get out their butterfly net, and haul me away to the nice rubber room somewhere where I could play with the computer with the rubber keyboard and the rubber mouse. I say that because this game uses separate firing to fire forward and to fire up, and because of that, to fire up, you have to have the joystick up. So the only thing that's left for jumping over craters is to have the joystick down. In addition, it responds rather slowly to the joystick input, so your timing is very different from other Moon Patrol clones. I suspect that if I played this long enough to get my timing down on this version, it would probably mess up my timing on the other version. So
Yeah, I won't play the whole thing, but yeah, it's kind of Moon Patrol. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see that some of the shots hitting the ground don't put holes in the ground, others
Yeah.
do. The
Yeah.
firing mechanic and jumping mechanic is quite
I think
different.
I've seen this once before too, just going through SDC archive or something. It looks like it might have been like compiled basic or something like that. Yeah, it's very
maybe.
much in the way the line is going and the sounds sound like the play command, bloop bloop. But it's interesting, right? So the perspective here is that your ship never moves, right? So they're really just scrolling the floor. So the amount of graphic shifting is real minimal. They're just shifting a little bit on the bottom there for the terrain, and they're just kind of shifting the top where the butterflies are up there. No, it's neat.
So gameplay mechanics are a bit different, but for a basic.
Oh, absolutely! It's very
bad.
very ambitious, and it you know what it is. You know what the game is representing. It's representing a flavor of Moon Patrol, and it's kind of cute the way it looks. It looks like almost like a kindergartner would have drawn this up with crayons in class or something like that. You know what I mean? The big bubble of the thing there. So it's got this real kind of cute grade school art look to it. And I'm not saying that in a demeaning way. I'm saying that in a flattering way because it's kind of cool. With the butterflies, and instead of it being spaceships, they're butterflies, right? So it is kind of it has got like a childlike innocence to it. So
and another thing that's not unique but pretty close to unique for that time period of '82 is that it is actually written by a female programmer, not a male,
that might explain why you have some of these non-standard, non-male, typical things, right? So
yeah. Because that was quite rare. I mean, I'm trying to think back in the 82, 83 time frame, female programmers on the CoCo that did commercial software. I mean, there's Computer Island, which was an educational company that Steve Blinn and his wife ran. His wife did write some of the games for it. And there was a few others in the educational game market. I know there was a few female programmers there, but as far as mainstream arcade style stuff,
Spinnaker software. I had a lot of female game designers.
Spinnaker.
Yeah.
I don't know if the CoCo ports did though, did they? They were usually done by like Larry, what's his name? The guy who did Snack Pack. Larry Banks and a few others like that. I could think the CoCo ports were done by male programmers. So it was just a fairly rare thing to see at the time. So that was another fairly unique thing about this game.
So in a way, we could say this is a very stylized take on the Moon Patrol genre, right? So.
Yep.
And it's always good to see stuff from Martin Lee. He is a true living legend when it comes to doing retro videos.
Yep, he's been doing it longer than any of us.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Not saying you're old, Marlon.
It's experienced.
Yeah, I watched his videos before I found yours, so that got me in the whole being excited about
me too.
getting to CoCo again.
Yep.
Experience, that's something we can all relate to. We're all 50-year-old teenagers, aren't we?
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Next up here, and Nick had already mentioned this before during his GameON, is that Rise has been finding all of the speech sound pack enabled games that Spectral did when they did their second round around 84, 85. And this is a list of the ones that he's uploaded to Facebook so far. Some of these have started to show up already on the Color Computer Archive, at least 3 or 4 I've seen. I don't think they're all quite up there yet. So there's Space Wreck, Kix, Cubics, Miss Pack, which is actually Miss Gobbler, Froggy, and Galagon. So there's 6 games with speech. There was more. I mean, Module Man supported. I think that one where you had that right version there. Suzuki had a version that spoke. There's, like I said, close to a dozen games that actually did add the speech.
Hey, talking about the speech pack too. I didn't realize this, but I think it was on Facebook this week somewhere. I read somebody was talking about if you want to run a speech pack on a CoCo 3, you have to do a mod to it. Was it right? Or
double speed? If you want to do double speed.
Oh, okay. So if you're running standard
if you clock
speed,
it down, if you clock the computer down before you talk to the speech pack, it will work.
Okay.
But if you're trying to write a game that you need the speed for it and you have to keep switching back and forth, it actually slows down the game.
Yeah, right.
But I believe there's a hardware mod you can do to the pack, so it'll handle either way.
So it won't do any damage plugging it in and running. It just won't work properly.
Right. Yeah. And there's 2 mods. There's one mod that people did back in the day when the CoCo 3 came out that just forced it to always run at double speed. And then there was another mod then a little bit later that actually lets you have a auto switch between. It'll detect what speed you're running at and just adjust itself. And that's the ideal module. And why Tandy didn't release that, I have no idea, because they could have used it.
Well, this product was released before the CoCo 3 came out, so double speed was not.
Yeah, but if they'd released an updated version, I mean, they released 2-button joysticks after the CoCo 3 came out.
True.
I should have asked.
I can answer that question right now if you'd like.
Go ahead.
Because they were cheap.
Right? They could have fixed the MPI, but they didn't do that either. So.
Yeah. I should have actually asked Brian Schubring while he was still on, actually, because my speech pack I bought off him. I should have asked him whether it's had the mod done to it, because it's in a nice blue case, so it probably has.
Anyway, for any of you people out there that have multi-packs and sound speech packs, and you want to get some more games that support the sound speech pack, here's 6 of them right here.
Neat. Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you, Bryza.
Thanks, Bryza, yeah.
So that's in the files section of the CoCo Facebook group, yeah?
Yeah, and it's also, like I said, it started, the first 3 or 4 have already showed up on the Color Computer Archive when I checked this morning, and the rest should be up there, because I know Bryza uploaded them all to it, and I mean, a couple of batches, and, you know, as he catches up with all the submissions and stuff, they'll show up there too, so.
Link to Facebook's already been posted in the YouTube chat.
Cool.
Next up, and this is carrying on from the Jim Gary's, where he was asking for beta testers on Sword of Fargal at the beginning of the week, and now he's actually released the full thing. So now this has got that amazing MC10 sound that only Jim Gary seems to have built into his MC10.
He knows how to beat up that 6-bit deck.
There's no 6-bit deck. There's only 1-bit in the
really?
MC10. So he's doing amazing stuff with that. As you can see in the comments, though, here, it's a port of the Sword of Fargal that originally appeared on the Commodore PET and then was later ported on to the Apple II Plus and the VIC-20 and a bunch of others too. So, and he did a pretty good job. This one actually, out of his adventure game ports that he's done from these other platforms, I think is the one I think looks the best and most impressive.
Oh yeah, that's really good audio.
There's the SID chip. That's a good SID chip, that one.
So you roll your character and you got, the various things here, but the mapping is done so that you actually only see things as you're going around.
Turn it down a little bit now. It's kind of loud. Yeah, music got louder. Yeah, that is neat, where it kind of illuminates.
Yeah, like it does the auto mapping as you're going through, like modern games tend to do type thing. Which I don't think I've seen him do on an MC10 game before, to be honest.
I am so looking forward to using my MC10 now that I just got it back. So.
And of course, you got like gold pieces, you got slashes, which represent stairs to go between levels. You've got monsters to attack, pits to fall in.
Steve, you've always been a long time.
I have. I've said it for years. MC10 is amazing. It's an amazing machine.
You're gonna trip the BS alarm,
Yeah. Jim Gary's done fantastic things with this MC10. Incredible.
Oh, that I won't disagree.
Fantastic. I love it.
Anyway, it's a pretty impressive game, and it was a pretty impressive game back in the day, because I mean, this came out in the late 70s originally. So this is very early on in the home computer revolution.
Yeah, very
this is quite a
roguelike.
fancy game for it.
Yeah.
Stevie was a supporter of the MC10 since the late 70s, I believe.
Oh, Kevin Holloway says it's on the C64 Mini. Oh, I haven't even looked at my C64 Mini yet, so thanks for letting me know, Kevin. It's on my to-do list. So.
And Brian Weasler, since you're still here, if you want to post that link you sent me privately, because it's not in the official news thing that Mark had, you can post it in the public here in Discord so that Mark can cut and paste it into the YouTube chat.
Okay.
And I will switch to that now.
You've been slain. I hate it when that happens. Crikey. Doughnut Dilemma. This is why he has Ferraris. $250.
Yes, I was just gonna say, did you notice the price on this?
Is that American?
Is this you? Are you needing like new tires?
You need to stop the Jim Gary music's still playing. Can you stop that one?
You should contact the seller and see if they want it autographed.
All right.
They can boost it another
$150.
150.
Now what is $250 Australian? Like $3 American?
171.54 it says.
It says 171.
Crikey.
So Nick, I wanted to get your reaction out of this. Like, first of all, are you secretly selling this because you're trying to get rich quick, or what?
That's it. My scam's over. No, I don't know who this is. This is a ripoff.
Is that what the original
game is? The game is free, but even for a collector, I doubt it's that. I mean, I've got heaps of the packages already in my cupboard here that I never sold anyway, so maybe I should do the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Put them in a plastic bag and sell them for $250.
Well, when you put
It's
it in
some
a
new old
plastic
stuff.
bag, you can seal in the smell of shite that this game is.
Oh my god.
Hey, you know what? The new version of this, it comes on. That's the CoCo 3 version. It comes on the Gunstar.
Yeah,
they
with
always
the
have.
pallets. Yeah,
It's really freaking cool.
yeah, joystick
it's
support.
better than this one.
Yeah, but you could have got $250 for that, Nick. Just put it in a bag.
Yeah, I could have. That's right. Yeah.
Could you,
Are they
do
charging
old
extra
stock?
because they spelled color correctly too? That was my other question because I've got the Americanized version here.
Color computer. Yeah. You notice he said the condition said acceptable when you looked at the original listing. Acceptable. It's an
Well, if you take a look, you can see the artwork's kind of cracked and stuff, so the paper's not in great shape. So
Tape's probably wrinkled.
They're sort of playing on the difference between eBay and PayPal, where you can kind of get caught up and not get your money back for stupid stuff. You see this all the time on eBay. Throw a wild number out there, someone's accidentally going to pay for it.
Well, it's classic and vintage and rare.
Yeah.
Is that still up there? Is it sold? Or
No, it's an
No.
active. It's an active auction right now.
I just posted the link. It's
why are you going to buy it, Nick, or what?
I can't imagine why it didn't fly off the shelf at $250.
I think you should contact the seller and offer him to autograph it so they can boost the price 150.
Yeah, tell them I'll split the proceeds
Wait, you
with
get
you.
like $200 or something
Yeah.
too.
If you look carefully, they've changed the name to Donut Enema.
That price, that's what you're getting.
When you eat too many donuts, you do need a donut emina. So too.
Well, to quote Stevie when he's playing Galagon, they're just getting you right up the tailpipe. So
Yeah.
kind of makes sense.
Hey Nick, is that supposed to be you on the front cover of that though, or?
No, it's roughly my dad when he
Okay.
was younger.
Okay.
But the expression fits in this context.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the I need an enema look. So
Well, that's about 40 years old, that drawing.
Wow.
Isn't that
It's either that or it's a picture of his dad, watching Nick getting born and kind of getting worried.
Actually, that has kind of a Monty Python look to it. The whole
I thought
lithograph.
it's more like a Beatles Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, the Yellow Submarine, maybe. Yeah,
yeah.
That's cool. It is a cool artwork for that cover. 200 and only $24 shipping. So listen, that's a steal.
With today's rising entertainment costs.
Rising entertainment costs. That's a real.
You know,
bargain.
there's plain donuts on the cover there, and the donuts you see have little things on them, don't they?
Well,
are they sprinkles or jimmies?
Yeah, sprinkles.
They're probably coins in this case for the extra money he's making selling the darn things.
For a game that's sold in Tandy for $20, $250 is pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, usually it goes.
value gained
Usually
that
it
much.
goes in the other direction. Like the Model 100 was selling for $1,000 back in the day, and you get it for like $100 now. So usually you get them cheaper as they become older, not more. So
Except if they're retro computers and vintage synthesizers.
okay.
There was a Roland Jupiter 8 up there for $40,000.
Wow, that's insane. So
That's
apparently the Ziploc bag really increases the resale value. So just note to sellers, put it in a bag, raise the price.
Now, one serious question I wanted to ask Nick about this, if you notice on their picture here, maybe it was one of the other ones here, because they did have a picture of the other side of the cassette.
Yep.
57 on here. Did you number them as you sent them out to Tandy?
No, I don't
That's
know
just
what that
whatever
is.
somebody did.
Someone else wrote that.
Okay, because I didn't know if you kept track of it that way or not.
What does modified mean?
Modified Color Computer 3 version.
And actually, the cassette label, I bought a pack of yellow cassette stickers back then, and then I bought a little stamp pad kit.
Yeah, as I say, it looks like a rubber stamp. Yeah.
It is. It's a rubber stamp, and then I stamped every label because
Wow.
I didn't have a printer that printed that, of course.
Yeah.
So I stamped every label.
Now,
and you put the CoCo 1 and 2 on one side and the CoCo 3 and color enhanced version on the second side?
That's right, yeah.
Also, Steve Rasmussen, otherwise known as Buck Owens in the chat, just mentioned the same seller has Zax on for 350 Australian. So, he figures don't
on cassette, huh? He just figures he's sitting on a gold mine.
$50.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it. I love it.
That's all right. It's not real money anyway.
You know, I've been looking at eBay recently for a few other things too, not just computer related, but like some old books and stuff. And I don't know, if I was going to sell something that I was not familiar with, I would probably want to see what other people are selling similar items for first before I just came up with some ridiculous price. I don't know. Call me crazy. Yeah. So
you're crazy.
Yeah.
Davey Mitchell's asking, what's their price for Nightmare High?
That's 500 Australian. Now you've paid way too much.
It comes with a free couch, though.
Slightly damaged.
In your choice of colors?
Yeah.
Wow.
You do get free postage, though.
Okay.
Not here, you don't. That's the $24 postage.
$24,
yeah. For rising entertainment costs, I've never been so entertained by shipping ever in my life.
Yeah, that cassette's got to be wicked heavy. I can see why it's going to cost $24 to ship it. So.
it's a metal tape.
Yeah.
The same tape is being sold for C64s too.
Yeah, it's got to go through at least 4 different kangaroos on that relay race to get it across country.
Yeah, and they have to get that special bag that fits in the kangaroo's pouch properly to ship it. So
you got to be insured for $250.
Oh my God!
Canadian Retro Thing says I have a Zax on cassette for only 200 Canadian. Any takers?
Rising entertainment costs. That's a real bargain. So yeah.
I got $5.
Nick, you said you made the labels. What about the cassettes themselves?
I made the cassettes as well. Yeah. Well, I bought the blank cassettes, and of course I ran. Or did I? Hang on a second. No, I didn't. I went to a duplication place because that would have drove me up the wall. That.
Yeah.
Especially with Doughnut Dilemma, because you sold thousands of these, didn't you?
Yeah. So I got a tape duplication place to do that, and I added the labels.
Okay.
What was the retail price for this back in the day, Nick?
$20 Australian back then. Yeah, in a Tandy store.
And you sold 1,000 of them.
There was 3,000 I sold to
3,500, I think, total. Yeah.
Yeah, to Tandy. I didn't get $20 though. I only got about $2-3 each on them. Tandy are the ones that made the money. If I'm actually interested in buying that, but not at that price, only for the cassette. I've got plenty of the packages. I've got plenty of the plastic bags and the printed material. I don't have any of the original cassettes. So just solely to have as my own personal souvenir, I wouldn't mind the cassette, whether it worked or not. I don't care. Just archive it, but not at $250.
No. Let's start a GoFundMe for Nick. So let's.
I should actually email the guy and say, look, I'm the author of this, and this is illegal. But if you sell it to me for $5, I'll forget it.
I'll call off the crack lawyers I just hired.
Tell he's in violation of the licensing agreement.
Lawyer drives a Ferrari.
The law firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Nick, did they have Dunkin' Donuts down under?
Not back then, but we do have them now, or if they haven't gone broke, we did have Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
Well, what a cool thing! You buy a dozen donuts and you get Doughnut Dilemma.
Well, we actually owned a donut bar back in the day. I mean, if you saw the Doughnut Dilemma page, there's a picture of our donut bar. So that was way back in the early 80s when, you didn't see those big donut bar chain stores. So we were a little independent kiosk type store in the middle of a shopping center, or shopping mall, as you call it. And we sold donuts, and that was really the whole inspiration for Doughnut Dilemma, the game.
Oh, cool.
Where I created it from. My webpage talks about it all. And, so...
That must have been one hell of a dangerous donut shop to work in after playing your game, though.
We sold a lot of donuts. That was back in the day, as I said, of all the... Well, we sold the cinnamon-coated donuts was the main thing, but we did also have some with icing sugar on the top as well.
Who were your biggest customers? Would have been the police, wouldn't they?
Oh, no, the public. Oh,
it was a joke.
Used to buy them by a dozen. But that was back in the day when one donut cost 20 cents. So we were selling bags of them, and they were very popular. And we had that till probably the mid 90s. before we
Oh, wow.
sold it.
You know what I did one time? My family was getting together at our house, and my wife says, "Why don't you run down to Dunkin' Donuts and get a couple of dozen?" I said, "Okay." So I run down to Dunkin' Donuts, right? And before I went there, I went over to the dumpster, and it just happened to be a bag of donuts in there. So I pulled the bag out, threw it in the car. I got 2 dozen, and then I went home. When I got home, instead of bringing the 2 dozen in, I brought the bag in. I just set it in the kitchen, and she goes, "What the heck did you do?" I said, "These were free. Look at them. Tons of them." Didn't go over well.
We used to sell them in bags of 6. That was the most common way of selling them, and lots of people bought them. A bag of 6 for $1.20, I think it was. So yeah, it was very popular back then in the 80s. Nowadays, you pay $2 for one donut.
Yeah, even here.
And $250 for the cassette version.
You eat it slow. 20
and you get a
cents
free
at a time.
donut in every bag. There's a donut. So inside, I wonder in the bag at the back of this is a dried up 40-year-old donut. No, we didn't.
No, I think Ron got all of those a while ago. So
yeah,
they're in the dumpsters.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. Brian Weasler, thank you for finding that actually during the show and just sending that to me, because it actually was. So it was interesting to see what Nick's reaction was for that price.
I will send an email to the seller and offer him, look, I'll give you $10 for it. I'm the author. My hands have touched every package, so my fingerprints should be on that package.
That's right. DNA. We can get
DNA
some forensics on there. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Interesting to see what he says to you in response to your email.
Yeah, probably F off.
Did that have a color computer 1 and 2 side?
Yeah,
it's on the screen
the
right
other
now.
side does. Yeah.
Did they show it?
Yeah. One of them says color computer 1 and 2 version, and the other side of the tape.
Oh, yeah, it does too. Yeah.
Yeah, it does show both sides of the tape.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last, which is a large group here, Cuthbert Dragon's been busy.
I just need to ask a question, because I am starting to run out of steam here. Mark, do you want to maybe pick up the stream, because I'm starting to fade, man. I've had a really long work week. I don't know if I can stay here much longer. I know we got a lot more to cover, but I personally can't do it. Is Mark B here?
Wake up.
You need to grab a donut.
Can we do this?
He's here. You just not.
Do you want to do a commercial break or something, Steve, to transition it, or?
Yeah, Mark, will you be able to pick up the stream?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Don't know what's going to happen when I push the button, but
yeah, I apologize, man. I'm just
run the credits.
Yeah, I know we got a lot more to cover. We got GameON news to cover. We've got project updates and acquisitions, but Stevie Stroh is tired.
We're actually through most of the GameON news. We're down to the last item.
Well, there's a bunch of videos Curtis wanted to play, so.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to run a commercial. Get ready, Mark Bosley, and you should be able to pick up the stream when I end the stream, hopefully, right?
Yeah, then we got the figure out the Zoom.
Okay. You're on Zoom. That should be good enough. All right, we're going to run a commercial, and we'll be back after these messages.
Maybe.
Let's.
And now, this message.
Hi, it's Curtis Boyle, part of the CoCoTALK crew of people.
Hey everybody, this is Bill Noble, co-author of Nitrous 9. You are listening to CoCoTALK Live, the leading live CoCo talk show.
Good day, mates. This is Nick Marionettes, author of such color computer titles as Doughnut Disaster, Rupert Rhymes, and Rockstar Pilot. And I am here today to tell you about the world's most fabulous operating system, OS 9. OS 9 and its current incarnation, Nitrous 9, is the most advanced operating system ever created. And what makes it so good? Ease of use. I find OS 9 so incredibly intuitive that I haven't once cracked open the user manual. And yet I've been able to create such incredible games faster than the time it takes to sing Waltzing Matilda. Using OS 9, I expect my next game, Funstar, will be done this weekend and distributed exclusively on ROM cartridge. OS 9 forever.
Any resemblance to actual events to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
Hi, this is Max Jackson live from CoCo Fest. And listen to the real gamer, Steve Schroe.
We're traveling through a dimension both of sound and ideas. We're at a place where the mind can comprehend and devise a solar radio, a wireless transmitter, measure time and light. 65 electronic projects brought to reality with this science fair kit. Astonishing? Perhaps. But you can find it for Christmas for $17.95 in a place that's known as Radio Shack.
Radios, stereos, recorders, everything in sound. A whole new approach. Faster than ever. A window to a world of possibilities. Clear your expectations. Clear your hesitation. Just hit clear.
Download EOU today at lcurtisboyle.com.
Hi, this is Sean Wheatley, and you're listening to CoCoTALK with the original gamer, Stevie Stroh.
Use the wrong stream key.
Yeah, it tells me I don't have the stream key.
All right. Well, we tried to switch streamers and we couldn't switch. All right, so we're back. All right, how about we do this? I'm gonna leave it on full screen. I'm gonna stop sharing. You guys run the show. I'm just gonna walk away, and then I'll check back with you in a little bit.
It's the best show ever.
Yeah,
go get a coffee.
That won't go wrong.
Problems.
Extra caffeine.
Hang on, I think it just maybe I just need to log in to restream here. Let me pick up that stuff and give it a shot.
Time for Stevie's afternoon nap.
What's the title of this episode? Stevie is drowsy.
I mean, just continue the show. Go ahead, Curtis, and continue to do the news. I'll just check back every little bit. I just can't sit here anymore because I'm just too tired. But I'll just leave the stream going. You guys keep doing what you're doing, and I'll check in on you every now and then.
Maybe you're getting my narcolepsy, Stevie. Maybe it's contagious after all.
Maybe you got
I'm meant to be the one doing the sleeping. Been driving Toyotas, drinking beer.
Mark, are you still trying to take it over, or should I just start the last?
I'm looking up the login information for Restream IO here.
So we're still live on air, or we?
Yeah,
it's a very professional setup.
We're just full screen.
Just do the show, man. Just keep going.
Stop blabbing, Curtis.
Keep going.
Okay, I'll just start sharing, and Mark, just maybe send a text message if you want to try to officially take it over.
Yeah, just need a minute here.
Hey, so this is Cuthbert Dragon, who did a whole bunch of, as usual, Dragon games, including some that I've never seen before. This first one, if Aaron's still in the chat here, this is actually a version of the game they covered on ARG Presents, where they did the Apple II version. And this is originally an arcade game called Anteater, which is not one I'm familiar with. I didn't play that one in the arcade at all. And this is the Dragon version called North Sea Action, which kind of takes the same gameplay, but makes a completely different scenario for it. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with the Anteater arcade game, but But basically, you're controlling the ball at the top there, and you draw these lines to go get all the dots and stuff, but you can't get hit by those faces that are moving back and forth.
There's an Apple II game. What's the Apple II game of this called, Mark?
I am not familiar with this one.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember if Aaron's still in the chat. Yeah, and he is. He just said "sweet looks good." But Aaron, if you want to continue, tell us what the name of the Apple version was, because it wasn't Anteater. It wasn't an official license. It was a clone.
Yeah, I don't recognize the gameplay. I mean, I've seen a lot of them, but I haven't seen all of them. Somebody's suspected.
Artie the Aardvark.
Artie the
That
Aardvark.
sounds right. Yeah.
Somebody has said there's somewhere between, they figure between 7,000 and 10,000 games for the Apple II. So,
and you haven't played them all yet?
But
that narrows it down.
Going barely scratched the surface.
That narrows
I wasn't
it
much
down.
of a game player.
Yeah, Aaron mentioned they just covered it last week in ARG Presents. So that's already on their YouTube page if you're on the Amigos Gaming. And Canadian Retro Thing says it was also called Oil's Well in the Coleco vision.
Ah, that's the one I'm thinking of, actually. Oil's Well. So it was on the Coleco.
And those are all clones of Anteater from the
Not to be
arcade.
confused with Wildcatting.
Oh, and Aaron's mentioning the same guy that did Artie on the Apple actually did the original arcade version of it too. So the same guy actually wrote both versions. That's interesting. That doesn't happen too often. And Rob Inman has asked if this is using PAL artifacting. Yeah, that purplish is the PAL artifacting.
And Oil's Well was actually released on the 64, the Coleco, the MSX, the Ataris, DOS, and the Apple II. So yeah, it was this version I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Oil's Well.
It ends well.
Yeah.
It was an interesting one because that's one I've not seen. I've never seen the arcade game version before, though I did look it up afterwards, and I've never seen a CoCo version of it as well. So this was uniquely on the Dragon, as far as I know.
This is a pretty good game. This.
Next one is Rollerball. Now, this one I think we've shown once before, though the video wasn't very good, and also the person that was trying to play it had no idea what they were doing. And that's one thing, the Cuthbert Dragon person actually seems to know how to play these games. So you actually get to see real gameplay instead of just somebody, randomly shuffling around not accomplishing anything.
I like that look. It's got the 3D
Yeah,
look.
3D's good. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
And there seems to be little transport things that you go through to different parts of the maze. I don't know the full details, but yeah, visually it looks like a pretty cool looking game.
Wonder if this runs on the Tano or CoCo 1 or 2.
It should. We might have to remap the keys. If it's a keyboard-driven game, that's the only thing you got to do is just find the code that reads the PIAs and then remap what rows and columns do what keys, or figure out what the keys are so at least you can try to play it if they're not too messed up position-wise. So yeah, you actually get to see some of the screens in here because the original video we showed only showed one screen and he couldn't figure out what to do with anything on it. So this person actually knows what they're doing.
I like how the 3D perspective changes. It's good.
Yep. It kind of reminds me almost of like Mine Roll, the cartridge from Radio Shack, except it's not a moving 3D or moving top view. It's a 3D just wandering through the maze type thing with a ball. I don't know if the gameplay is any similar, but so that was an interesting one. 689 Express. We have shown this one before, and that was another one where the person didn't really kind of figure out what they were doing. Watching this guy play, it makes more sense now. Basically, you're following the track lines on the bottom of the screen, and you got to switch between tracks to avoid certain things that you can't destroy. But there's other things in there you can shoot. You can actually see him like shoot a hole through something so you don't run into it. And then later on, you get planes dropping bombs on you, all kinds of things. So. So you can see on the bottom, there's 3 tracks and there's a little connecting parts, and you actually see him shoot holes through some of those obstacles. And then you have to switch tracks as you're going too.
Is this running a external sound cartridge? Or?
Nope, that was actually sound speech. And there you see one of the planes dropping a bomb on you. So that's another unique game. I haven't seen that one before. The previous time we'd shown it, but this actually shows some of the gameplay properly too. So a bunch of these we're gonna have to go through and actually see how they work on the CoCo. Okay, next one up, and this is another one that we had shown before, but the gameplay none of us could figure out from watching it. In this one here, I think you do kind of get the idea for it now. At first, it looks like an asteroid's clone because you shoot these shapes and they break into 2 other shapes. But the firing mechanic is totally different. You're that ball that's wandering around. And basically, you fire off a spinning bomb or whatever it is, and it just sits in space until something runs into it. So you're basically throwing bombs in front of the asteroid. You're not shooting, per se. And then there's also certain shapes that you have to run into, recharge your gun and recharge your shields.
Can you blow yourself up by mistakes?
It's like you're leaving a little poop.
Okay, that's not what I would have thought. But okay.
Way to class up the show, Ron.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's ranked right up there with your donuts.
No charge at all.
But as you can see here, because you're constantly splitting things, you're not really clearing off the screen that much until a certain point. That part is similar to asteroids. I'm just trying to remember if I can find where the recharging is. Oh yeah, that little thing in the center that's not moving with the flashing eye, that's part of your recharge. And now you see his shields and protons are recharging as he's sitting in dock to it. So while looking like asteroids at first, it's actually quite different gameplay. And another original concept. I don't know if there's an arcade game based on that, or that this is based on. I don't know what it would be.
So do we know whether your own bombs can blow yourself up?
I don't believe so, but I haven't seen him actually do that, so I'm not sure.
It has constant sound too.
And I do know that every time you fire a new bomb, your previous bomb, if it's still around and hasn't been hit by something, it disappears. So it plays like Gorf that way, where you shoot a new shot, your previous shot disappears.
Interesting. I don't see this game on the World of Dragon archive.
Okay, Stone Raider we've seen before. Can't remember if we've seen darts before. This was one I couldn't remember if we had shown before. If we have, just let me know. We'll skip it.
Oh, that's cool.
So you got the little darts on the top and the side there to try to do your aiming. And of course, you're the outer ring, you get your double score. Your inside ring, you get the triple score, etc. So, and I think it's in basic.
So you throw bricks at your TV monitor to get them.
And it's a fairly nice looking darts game.
Throw darts at your monitor.
Next up is Perilous Pit. Rewind a bit here. Which is one of those, maze games that kind of resembles Module Man type thing. Now, this one here, you have to gather your treasures and then deposit them into that car at the top right there, the red one, kind of like Bag It Man or Bagman does, while dodging obstacles, etc., and maneuvering the maze itself. So, and you can only carry one at a time. So you're constantly having to, go back and grab the next one before you refill it again. So I'll just let them capture one and put it up there, and then. You guys getting sound on this?
Yeah.
Okay. On my end, it's so faint I can't even hear it. So, but I know it's quite a bit louder on the live stream.
Yeah,
anyway.
it sounds about right here.
And there's different mazes as you go through. It's not all the same screen. So an interesting little maze strategy game. Next one up is a Castle Attack, and this one I have not seen before. So you get to collect keys and you use keys to open some of the doors, etc., while dodging shapes that are coming around at you. Then you got this secondary level, and this is actually reminds me of Nick Morante's because it's kind of a mastermind game you have to play between the levels, except they're using like weird shapes instead of colors.
You saying I'm a mastermind? Thanks.
No, I'm saying you're a ripoff artist because this was done before yours. No, I'm just kidding. But it's interesting that both you and somebody in the UK came up with the concept of taking an arcade game and inserting a mastermind game into it. And you've done that twice now. You've done that on Gatecrasher for opening doors.
Yeah.
And you've done it on Gunstar for opening the Hypergate or Stargate.
Yeah, not exactly mastermind, but anyway.
Well, similar. I mean, you're trying to match symbols up and cracking a 4-digit code. I mean, yeah, that's a bit different gameplay wise, but similar concept.
I just thought Nick was a cheap hack.
Well, no, he's an expensive hack. You see how much he's selling Doughnut Dilemma for?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta buy that Ferrari somehow.
Anyway, the graphics on here I thought were pretty well done for P-Mode 3. It actually looks like an inside of a castle type thing, you know, the big door arches and stuff. So little chunks of bricks in the walls. I mean, aside from the gross color palette, they didn't have much of a choice, but. So that was Castle Attack. So River of Fire. Now this is a graphical adventure game. That's a text mixture. So you got the graphics on the top, text on the bottom, kind of like Sands of Egypt and a ton of others that have been done. Of course, it's using the P-Mode 3 palette because of its PAL. I like the intro screen with the lava flowing by. That was kind of cool. Now, one thing that's a bit unique about this game, it's got the animated graphics, which, I mean, not every graphic adventure game did, but quite a few of them did, the Mark Data products, etc. Is that as you go between scenes, it'll actually switch between the two color sets, depending what the scene is. So it actually has 8 colors within the game, and it tries to pick palettes that, you know, for whatever you're particularly looking at would look best out of those 2 sets. And you're just seeing there, it's gone back and forth between 3 rooms, and each one is alternating the sets. So I thought that was unique. I've never seen a graphical adventure game do that, where it's actually switching the color sets depending on the room you're in. So I thought that was pretty an innovative try, you know, really getting color out of Color Computer, or, you know, Might of the Dragon in this case. Okay, next up after that is Death Valley, another one I'd never seen before. This is an arcade style game. So you're the thing on the bottom, they're shooting up, and you got to shoot all the aliens before they come down. And if they actually make it to the bottom there, that landed bar goes up. And you also have a time limit. But it has nice animated backgrounds of like volcanoes and this nice new alien terrain and sun and stuff.
Yeah, that backdrop almost looks digitized.
Yeah,
the
it
mountains
looks really
look
nice.
really good.
And you get aliens of different sizes and colors, and they actually kind of remind me of some of them. Speaking of Nick Moretti's again, they kind of remind me of some of your Space Invaders and your Space Invaders clone that you drew.
Notice the sprites can overlap too, like pass in front of the planet and stuff.
Yeah.
That one's not bad.
Yeah, I thought it was visually it's quite good for that type of your takeoff.
This is sort of beginning the path that Donkey Kong Country ended up in, where just a 2D platformer has all of this drama.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, it's a pretty visually good-looking game for a P-Mode 3 game. I was impressed. Sound gets annoying after a while. Okay, next one up after that is Droids. It's a nice semi-graphic start screen. So this one, you got the aliens coming in from the side, then they start stealing bricks out in the middle.
This is cosmic ambush in the arcades.
I did think it looked familiar, but I couldn't remember the name of the game, so I couldn't look it up to make sure. And the speed definitely picks up as more and more of the aliens get killed, and it gets like wicked fast.
I think in the arcades, this actually used the same hardware as a Space Invaders machine. Cosmic Invaders, rather, I think it was called. I'll just look it up.
And once again, they went and switched the modes to give you a bit more color to play with. That was a cool one. I hadn't seen this one before either, so.
I think the single best game that pulled that off was Polaris, as far as mixing up the 2 color modes and the variety of colors.
Yeah. That one went through all kinds of color sets. This one here is a game that I just put up on my site. We did cover it a little bit before, but it was a pretty crappy video. And this guy actually knows how to refuel, which I didn't know when I even tried it to put it on the website. So I have to try it again now that I actually know you can do that. So it kind of gives you a 3D perspective as aliens fly in.
That's kind of like Gyrus a little bit.
Yeah, perspective-wise, definitely.
Yeah.
And you got to watch your fuel too, which is something I did not realize when I was trying it. And this one I can guarantee works like CoCo because I have played it.
Do you know what guarantee means?
I like the rotation on those TIE fighters. That's really cool.
Yeah, and they actually zoom in too as they come in from the distance.
And the fact he's using blue for space kind of offsets the nasty green, you know?
Yeah. Now here he does the refueling sequence, which I didn't do. And actually, it's kind of, I don't know if you can read it on the stream here, but it actually says fuel on that top ship. So now it's recharging your fuel.
Oh, that looked like a freaking mothership that you had to fight or something.
Yeah, you had to blast a hole in it.
Yeah.
And there's different aliens as you go on. I can't remember if he actually gets to them. Oh, there's your death sequence, which is pretty interesting. Reminds me of Xenix a little bit, actually.
My little coronaviruses.
Oh, here's the asteroid field you have to fly through. You can't shoot them.
They look like coronaviruses.
I don't know, it's a very well done arcade game with a lot of good 3D elements, some pretty cool effects, pretty unique gameplay. I don't know, Nick, have you seen an arcade game like this or?
No.
So I think it's an original as far as I know.
Little palette hack and you're there.
Yeah.
Will this work on the CoCo 3?
I tried it on my CoCo 1. I didn't try it on my CoCo 3, but I don't see why not. It should work fine. And I think it's on the archive too, if I remember. Anyway, pretty cool game. Next up is Return of the Ring. Where is that? There we are.
Is that when your fiance calls it off?
So I was watching the beginning of the video. Oh, it's just a text adventure game type thing. No, actually, it's not. It's somewhat text adventure, and then it's somewhat more interactive graphics type thing. So I'll just fast forward a little bit here. So once you get to a certain part of the game, you're actually moving around a scrolling map.
Sounds like a telemachine.
But it still has the text adventure element. You still type some of your commands to do certain things, so it's kind of a combo.
You put your pin code in there.
Yeah, it reminds me of gameplay like Ultima type thing, where you're wandering through the map with the arrow keys, but those usually just had single key commands for pick up object or drop or whatever. And this one actually uses the full text interactivity of a text adventure game combined with the easy moving scrolling map, which I haven't seen done too often before. So I thought it was an interesting visual. Now I said a note here.
It looks kind of turn-based where the other guys don't move if you don't move.
Yeah. So it's almost like a combination real time when you're moving, but once you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the command he's typing in there? Transact? Or was that...
AW attack something?
Oh, okay.
Maybe?
Attack the world.
It's transact west, try to interact with whoever that is, and then attack west.
Okay.
But it has these little sub games too, like this one here. Like all of a sudden, the gameplay is a bit different again, and the screen size has actually changed because the text window is much smaller.
Now the fact these things are being painted like they are makes you wonder if this was compiled BASIC or something.
Yeah, or BASIC with machine language subroutines, because that scrolling when he's wandering around wouldn't be that fast in BASIC. But
my question is, what command took over the T so you have to spell out transact? Because you can do AW.
Yeah. I just thought it was an interesting one because it mixes a kind of couple of different methods of play of an adventure game or a game and all into one game. So there's a fair bit of variety in this one compared to what a normal standard graphic text adventure game or a standard RPG style game would be. It's kind of combines the elements from both of those worlds. Yeah, so anyway, that's a pretty cool one, I thought. Next up after that is Juxtaposition, which I think's here. which is another, looks like a standard text adventure game with a bit of a picture here. So you go wandering around and you do your text adventure-y thing, but you actually exit the dome, and then all of a sudden the gameplay mechanic changes pretty drastically. If I can find it. So now all of a sudden you're outside and you've got this, view. We'd switch to a graphic view again.
Kind of shades of Sands of Egypt here.
Yeah, and then it draws fast enough. It almost gives a 3D effect as you're walking. Like you'll see him when he comes walking towards something.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I got to say, these P-Mode 3 fonts are pretty decent, too, with the mixed case and everything.
Yeah.
Well, for a second, I thought those were sheep. And say David Ladd would be getting excited, but yeah, it's trees.
Oh, Stevie.
Castle
but the 3D effect of walking through the scene here is actually
it's
pretty
decent. Quick, too.
So are these disc-based games?
I don't know. Disc games on the Dragon were a lot more rare, or just ones that required a disc because the disc drive is so expensive and not easily obtainable at the time. So I'm not sure. I'm hopefully some of the Dragon people in the chat will be able to chime in on some of these, but I haven't actually downloaded that one to try yet. I've got to see if I can find it because it definitely looks like an interesting game. Okay, Sword and the Sorcerer.
Davey Mitchell says cassette.
Okay, that's pretty impressive actually.
Thanks, Davey.
I need to step away, guys. You guys all have a good rest of your show and a good weekend.
Brian.
Yep.
Here's
Thanks,
some
Brian.
PAL artifacting here with that purple.
Yeah, this one's actually meant to be a 2-color pure game. So if you have your composite mono switch, hit it.
Yeah. Attack and defense, huh?
Yep, nicely laid out.
Oh,
Then
look
you've
at
got nicely
that.
drawn
That
monsters.
Minotaur-looking guy looks good, huh?
We should actually get whoever did this one to contact Paul Shoemaker because that one game he had to pull because the original artist didn't like him using the artwork. This guy did some pretty decent artwork too, so maybe they should collaborate if he's still around. I have no
Is this
idea.
a new brew or this is a back in the day?
I think it's a back in the day one.
That guy kind of shades a dagger out there with the scorpion or spider or whatever that is there, kind of coming up.
Yep, giant spider and a silver dagger.
Uh-huh.
And it's written in BASIC from what I can tell. From the sound and from the speed of clearing out this text and stuff.
Yeah, we've seen this more in the Dragon than anything else, but taking the whole text adventure genre and turning it on its ear, and just adding a little value added to it.
And unique approaches like mixing a 3D walkthrough or mixing a arrow key real time moving with a text adventure. Like I don't recall any CoCo games doing that.
No.
So Ziggy's probably about the closest I can think.
That skeleton looks pretty cool.
Yeah, no, he did pretty good for 2-color graphics mode.
Yeah. Very legible font.
Yep.
You attack poorly. Wow, it's very judgmental, isn't it? You mansy pansy, mamby pamby.
You
are
attack
a
like
wimp.
a girl.
Don't let the politically correct police get onto that one.
Ooh, a genie. Ooh, look at that.
And some food. You got like
know
a
what I
bottle
mean?
of
It's like
wine and some bread and cheese.
The artwork is very just self-explanatory. You know exactly what you're looking at here.
Yeah.
The genie sells you the magic potion and leaves the room. Neo likes it. That's cool. I like that. I like
There's
it.
an
The
axe.
battle
Like,
axe.
really well done graphics.
Yeah,
I was
and
quite impressed.
all kind of fitting in the perspective of the scene too. Oh, look at that, like a unicorn.
Yeah, making David happy again. Anyway, it's a rather interesting one too.
What's
It's
that
written
one
in
called that
Ricky
you
Basic.
just showed off there?
That one is called Sword and the Sorcerer.
Sword and Sorcerer. Okay, very cool.
Next one up is Starman Jones, which is kind of Defenders.
What is he,
a
a
little
space pimp? Starman Jones, bitch.
So Starman Jones was the name of a Heinlein novel.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Like Rick James.
I'm Rick James, bitch. Starman Jones.
Mark the time where Stevie has gone loopy.
Oh, is he like in a hover chair?
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
You shouldn't be doing
He's like got a flying lazy boy as he hovers through and shoots at things. So.
and then does streaming pee at everybody, as far as I can tell.
Ostensibly,
it's like I want to defend the galaxy, but I want to do it from a comfortable position. So put me in my.
I want to be able to.
Yeah.
I want to be able to pee on my enemies.
As long as I've got my
Defend the galaxy,
jetpack
but I don't
power.
want to have to stop.
That's right. Stop right there.
There's a bulletin board for a Sword and the Sorcerer down there, a billboard ad.
Yeah, right down there from the same author.
Mm.
But he's got nicely drawn terrain. It's not just the generic mountains. You got Defender. He's got like runways and helicopters and boats. There's also a refueling station. You have to refuel occasionally. That you have to land on and then refuel.
Yeah, I like that it's using the inverted one, kind of like some of the Mark Data ones did, where you got black on white, but then he's got some inverted stuff down there too with the craters and stuff. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, and then level 2 introduces some more monsters.
Yeah, so take a good look, Stevie.
Level 2. We're good multi-voice music. Oh, look at the bigger font for first place. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Again.
Fire Force we've seen before, so we'll skip that one. Next one I had was Kung Fu the Master.
Spaceman Jones, bitch.
This is what happens when Stevie gets overworked.
That's it.
This is when the overtiredness kicks in.
I'm from tired to loopy.
Oh, this is like Kung Fu Master.
Yep.
Kick you in the nuts. Yeah, look at that.
It's a shame we don't have more of these that run on the CoCo.
Oh, and he like disappears into a puff of smoke. You gotta love that. Oh, jumping over a dagger.
Ooh, that didn't look good.
And they had a couple of these Kung Fu games. We found that Shaolin Master before, which was kind of like similar to this too.
That's cool. Duck under the knife. Duck again. Kick him in the shins, and poof, he's gone.
Just like Stevie.
So we can find where he finishes level 1 here.
I want to see some more Starman Jones, bitch. Starman Jones.
I think Stevie's on something.
Stevie went, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, because you get the things that drop in your head. You get the things that break open snakes and dragons.
Stevie didn't really need food. He had to go and roll a joint.
Look out for that snail. There's a high-speed snail coming at you.
Stevie, there's no snail there. I'm sorry. You're seeing things.
He did roll a joint.
What was that? That wasn't a snail? What was that?
The snake.
The snake. Okay, whatever.
It's a snake, man.
Looked like a high-speed snail for a second there. So.
Nick, were you asking a question, Nick Marantes?
No, not me.
Okay, so somebody was trying to ask something earlier. I couldn't quite hear.
Mikey wants to know what the controller for this is. Is it a keyboard or joystick? Or?
I have no idea. I haven't tried this one.
I gotta say, it's pretty neat though. The whole idea of the kind of kung fu dude, side-scrolling.
Yeah. No, and we didn't really we had Kung Fu Dude, and that was pretty well it as far as karate, I guess, by Dicom. But they had like the Shaolin Master, which is kind of like a hyper version of this one. And they had this one as well. So, I mean, they had quite a few good ones on the Dragon. Now, this one is an interesting one. I've never seen this one before, too. It's called Sky Joust. And you take a look at the beginning, you go, it's a Joust clone. Not quite.
But wait, there's more. Hold my beer. Okay.
Go back to the beginning.
Sky Joust. Well, yeah.
So this looks like Joust, right?
Oh, look at that. Semi-graphics with the scrolling music, too. Okay. Color me impressed so far. Excuse me, color me impressed.
You can shoot.
Oh, wow.
Now that's Joust, man.
That's Joust with the machine gun, bitch. I'll shoot your ass down.
Extreme Joust.
That's Starman Jones playing Joust, bitch.
That's right. No, he'd be peeing.
Better than Lancer.
Beats the crap out of buzzard bait.
So we were talking about buzzard bait and Lancer and Pegasus. Not anymore. This is my favorite one because you can shoot the bitches now.
Oh, Styleman Joe's ain't afraid to shoot a bitch.
Today's quote: "Shoot the bitches."
And then the other cool thing, this takes place, I don't know if you can tell by the top, but you're in front of a castle, right? You can see the kind of the turrets and stuff on the two sides.
That's neat.
When you go to the second level, you actually scroll up to the next playfield area.
Okay, that's like a castle in the background, right? Oh yeah, look at that. And there's your PAL artifacting.
Kind of like Pegasus flying.
Yeah, Pegasus, like changing the scenery.
Phantom Riders, yeah.
Now they're at the top of the castle.
He's fighting.
Yeah, it sounds like a diarrhea shark. The fire there, but
Is this historically accurate?
yes, yeah, they had.
Of course.
They had flying ostriches with machine guns back in the day.
You wait till the Kill Rabbit comes out.
Yeah. Run away! Run away! That's pretty
or the
cool.
Knights at Sea Knee, you know, tis but a flesh wound.
How about rodents of unusual size?
Yes. Sky Joust. That's cool. Fast forward a little bit more. See if it changes scenery again. Now we're going even higher. Take your time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's open air. What are those, like flying penguins?
Yeah, when you shoot them, they fly up off the screen. Like you don't actually kill them per se.
Okay, kind of like a shooting gallery thing.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you still got the other guys that you're fighting as well, still at the same time. So I'm assuming you can run into them and still die if you're trying to dodge them.
Right.
And they're shooting back now, in case you didn't
Now,
notice.
does it still have the original joust mechanic where you could boink them if you're higher than them, or is it just shooting?
Nope,
No,
all
okay.
shooting.
Are there
Joust.
any eggs you have to pick up?
That's cool, though. That is definitely twisting the game on its ear, right?
Yeah, that one I want to try. I haven't tried it yet,
Yeah,
but that one I'm going to see if I can find a copy of. And I'll fix that one for the CoCo if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You got till November.
Next up is Star Defense. This is actually the last one of the newer ones.
Is this a okay, Defender-ish?
Yeah, I like the explosions. He did the animation of the explosions pretty good when you shoot the alien.
Yeah. Yeah, the scrolling's pretty smooth. That must have been a smart bomb he just activated, right?
No radar, though. That's one thing different.
The fluorescent lights really
New
realistic.
wave assembling.
Can't seem to shoot the fluoro though.
Yeah,
Just
right.
stays there.
Smart bomb. There's no people to pick up, but the mountain range is cool.
Yeah, so the gameplay mechanics is a little bit different in the you don't have a radar, so you don't really know where they're coming from. And then you don't have the humans to worry about as
No,
well.
I like the explosion there. It's cool too when your ship blows up.
Yeah, when your ship blows up too, your particles, if they hit the side of the screen, they actually ricochet back like there's an invisible barrier there. They don't just fly off. It's a little bit different. I'm trying to remember if there's other aliens when you get into a new wave here. I think it just gets more intense. Oh, they're dropping bombs now. That doesn't
Okay.
change later.
That's neat.
And that is it.
A lot of cool games.
There's
on
a
the
couple
track.
of pretty cool ones I've never seen before, and I definitely want to try a couple of them, especially Sky Joust, because being able to shoot your opponents from a distance. I mean, that just took the whole Lancer Buzzard debate out of me completely, because this is the winner now. Because this is fun.
Yeah. Joust with guns. What else do you need? Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so what's next? We're gonna do some project updates and acquisitions. Is that where we are in the program?
Sounds good to me.
All right, we want to take a commercial break, and we'll come back with some project updates and acquisitions. And I think we need a little CoCo do as we switch out here.
Oh yeah.
CoCoTALK will return after these messages.
CoCo 2, c'est le coq champignon, des micros et donne le pion. Pour le jeu, il est pas bavard, les études, c'est pas bizarre. L'expansion, il envoie ça, les commandes, tu vas voir ça. Notre CoCo est contrôlable, pour tes cours, c'est bien serviable. CoCo 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac.
Un ordinateur couleur qui a de la personnalité. Le CoCo 2 de Radio Shack. On solde pour Noël à partir de 149,95.
CoCo 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac, c'est toi et CoCo 2.
And now, CoCo Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. If you're using your color computer in Quebec and it stops working, is it now a CoCo won't do?
Hi, Ron Delvaux, Timberman, CoCo Fest, CoCoTALK.
In a world where RGB produces black and white video, one cable can make a difference. Switcheroo. CoCo3ScartCable.com.
Hey, have you got your CoCo 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer.
What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
Radio Shack's store-wide manager's red tag sale is on now. We've slashed prices 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Save on famous Radio Shack hi-fi, car stereo, radios, toys, TV games, calculators, walkie-talkies, and CB radios. Look for the big red tag. Save like never before on these and literally hundreds of red tag specials. Hurry into Radio Shack today.
Hi, this is Randy Kindig of the Floppy Days podcast. I just love me some CoCo, and nobody covers it better than Steve Strobridge. You're listening to CoCoTALK.
Obviously, he's never heard Grant Leedy, because Grant Leedy does a hell of a lot better job than I do. All right, so
thank you very much,
are
Stevie.
back. We are back with everyone's favorite topic, everyone's favorite show here. And, what am I doing here? Yeah, that's what I need to do. We are now on the updates and acquisitions part of the show. Everyone's favorite part of the show. Who said they had things they wanted to share? I think Mr. Jason, the Coco Man Reichard, had something he wanted to tell us at home.
I did. Oh, look, I'm on here. Okay. I've had, again, known for, get rid of that. I look ridiculous, but that doesn't matter. I still look ridiculous. I still look ridiculous. Who am I kidding? I've had some requests. There we go. I've had some requests, and I've decided to start fulfilling some of those requests for a particular piece of hardware. And I'm announcing here, and this will be up on my website soon. It's not up on the second, but I am going to start offering drive wire cables for the CoCo. And they will have these nice molded 9-pin ends, technically known as a DE9, but more commonly referred to as a DB9. But that will be for your PC serial port, and then of course your 4-pin for your Bitbanger port on your color computer or MC10.
Mm-hmm. How do you like the cable quality on those?
I am impressed. I'm really impressed. I like
now,
these.
Do these cables have an Australian name?
I don't have an Australian name for them. Maybe I'll come up with something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I didn't even think of a name.
Now, are they? What is the length? Is the length in United States measurement units, or is it in the metric units?
It can be in either.
Okay.
I'm going to offer I'm going to call it a 6 foot. You might get a little bonus length out of that. It might be 7, but we'll call that the 2 meter cable. Anything else you get is bonus. 2 meters or 6 feet. I'm sure we're all familiar with that measurement during these trying times. And that will be $20. And then I am.
So you could use it as your social distancing measuring stick too.
You could. It's really awkward when you have to ask the other person.
Can you hold the other end of this drive wire cable?
Can you hold the other end of this, please?
Now,
okay.
If you don't like the person, you can just whip it at him and hit him with it too to keep him away 6 feet. So.
Yeah, but that'll be the 6 feet 2 meter version, and then
it's either that or wear the 6 foot donut.
Right.
Or you could just take your mask off and give him a blast of bad breath.
I saw a picture of a fellow with some pool noodles on his head there, but that's one way you could do it. But the other thing, I'm also going to have what I'm going to call a 10-foot cable available. Looks very similar, but just 10 foot. You might get a little bit of bonus length there, but we're going to call that 10 foot.
Okay.
What is that in metric?
That's
About
like
3 meters, I think.
3 meters.
We're going to call that 3 meters. 3 meters plus. 10 foot plus. You get at least 10 feet. You'll get at least 6 feet. You might get a little extra. Just depends on how that all works out. But and those will be 25, and those will be on the website at cocoman.biz with plus whatever the shipping charges are going to be. I think probably one cable in the U.S. will be about $5 or so.
Now, is there a toggle switch on these cables?
No, that is the thing. This is going to be part of my non-toggle switch line.
Because I was thinking a turbo button would be really nice when you wanted to kick it into high-speed serial mode. Just flip that turbo switch.
Well, now let me see here.
It'll have a toggle switch if you buy the serial switcher along with it.
Right, you can. Works great with a Joey serial switch. I will admit that works. I've been testing some. It's great having it's nothing else. It's nice just having the port. Since I have that monitor stand behind me, it's nice having the
ports up front.
The ports right up our front, just kind of like the joystick switch. Same size as the Joey joystick switch. This is the Joey serial switch, and that's helpful there. But anyway, I also do have the there's for turbo mode on DriveWire 4. There's what is that? Pins 1 and 2 on the port. They're already jumpered together for turbo mode for DriveWire 4 on all these cables.
Okay.
But they'll be available soon. That's it right now. I need to put up these up, and then the joystick audio digitizer cable I talked about during our virtual CoCo Fest. I need to put that up. There's going to be some revamp coming here very soon to and getting more of a real shopping cart system at cocoman.biz. That's all I have.
Very cool. Thanks for that update. I believe Mr. Dave had an update. Where is Mr. Dave?
Yes. Oh, I'm still here.
Okay.
Enjoying the show.
So you ready to show us your show and tell, Mr. Dave?
Yeah, if I could, I will get on it.
Go ahead.
That's Mr. Dave to you.
Okay, so I was waiting for a lot of stuff in the mail. I went a little bit crazy. But first I got a surprise. The man that I bought the CoCo 3 from, he later sent a package with a mini cassette recorder and some books. And that was never in the listing.
Okay.
So that was a nice little bonus to get.
Yeah, I have that Tandy Graphics book. Very nice.
Oops. And next up, we have these guys came in.
Oh, we got the beige and the silver TIs.
Yeah, well, you want the version, right?
Is that the speech pack on top?
Yeah. So that's going to be some fun stuff to play with, because the TI was my first computer, then I upgraded to a CoCo.
Mm-hmm.
I did get my CoCo 3. That was good. Wednesday is junk mail here.
Oh, VEC 20.
Yeah, VIC-20 and a C64.
C64.
And a
Okay.
C64.
Nice.
And that's a keyboard from a Coleco Adam Tandy, I guess.
Nice. Nice.
All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, now we got the good stuff coming in. Where are they?
Fasten your seatbelts.
Where are you guys? Here?
Okay.
This is another Arabic MSX computer.
Wow. 2 cartridges.
Mm-hmm. If you hold down the control key, it will boot up straight in English.
Nice.
Now, my only problem with that, I also got a Sony Hitbit. My only problem with that was it's a 220 plug. So now the guys on Discord were not too sure about this method, but you can use 2 extension cords to get 220 volts.
That's dangerous.
Not quite. Maybe.
If they're on different circuits.
Please don't try this at home.
Depending on what leg
Dave
they were on.
is a certified mad scientist and knows how
That scares the heck out of me.
That's,
So there we go.
That's Two-Face gone mad.
So underneath it, we have my Sony computer, a Sony MSX, and here's a test. So I found 2 different plugs that would give me 230 volts.
That just reminds me of David's, plugging 2 multi-packs into each other thing. Right up that territory.
This is
A
a
little
true.
dangerous. Yes, you can do it. Maybe you shouldn't.
So now we just made a special connector.
Now you're playing
Oh,
with
that's
fire.
special, all right?
Ooh, wire
You
wrap.
You have an electric dryer you can just unplug instead.
Right.
It's a taser. He's got a taser there that he's plugging his computer into.
That looks like more like it's going to be a defibrillator when clear.
Clear. The actions of Dr. Dave are not
I think he's
endorsed
going to
by.
need a defibrillator.
All right.
Oh, here we go. Here's
There's
the
a
result.
company that sells to the converter transformers.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and post that link?
I right now have just found it. This was a little more industrial, but
Probably a little more
There.
safe too, I'd imagine.
You need like
yes.
a step-up transformer.
Safe. I have a lot of electrical tape.
Oh, jeez.
I had a
Don't
friend who
do
did the
this at
opposite.
home.
He rewired his office and used 2 different legs because in the U.S. you have 220 volts and 2 different circuits. And he plugged his printer into one circuit and his motherboard, his Apple, into the other circuit, and he didn't have an Apple anymore.
try the company I just posted the link on. They've got some safer options.
Did you do that? Try that over here in Australia and end up with 415 volts. And that does some really nasty things.
Shouldn't typically have a problem, but obviously something was wrong.
Consult an electrician.
Well, when I get time, I'm gonna put in a proper plug, but I wanted to test my computer. So here's inside the Sony computer, and it has the Texas Instruments video chip. And by comparison, Yamaha did things differently. Instead of computer chips, they used wires.
You're
That's
talking about instead
interesting.
of traces, they use little wires to connect things.
That's a single-sided, double-sided board.
Yeah, it's got probably traces on the bottom and wires on the top. Very interesting.
So it's very different build from the Sony.
No solder mask on this side, but it does have silkscreen. Interesting.
So, Mark, we had the same company in mind.
Where's my nice CoCo?
I just reposted your link with the HTTP, so it's hot linkable from the chat rather than have to copy and paste.
YouTube used to complain when I did that.
Only because you're not special.
Okay, so this is a CoCo 3 with a Boomerang E2 board.
Yeah, this is my CoCo 3 I ordered from Texas months ago. It finally arrived, and it's got a 512K Boomerang and a 6309 socketed.
Actually, that's a 2 meg.
That's a 2
upgrade,
meg
isn't it?
because it's the E2. You're just
E2,
missing
yeah.
the DAP board.
Yeah.
Yep, get the DAT board and you'll be golden.
Yeah.
Also from Texas.
That's an idea.
Everything's bigger in Texas. Cool. Does that conclude your sharing, Mr. Dave, or did you have something else?
That concludes, except I found a game that will settle the buzzard bait lancer debate.
Okay.
It's the same game, but you fly around as hens.
Oh, wow. This is on the
Now this one I would take over the one that Curtis showed earlier.
Hey, you probably can't shoot in this one, so I don't know about that.
Exactly. It's an abomination.
Okay, this is on the TI, right, Mr. Dave?
Yeah, you just crap all over everybody.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
like this show.
Yeah.
And you don't have to collect eggs, but you can lay your own.
All right, thanks for sharing, Mr.
Kind of like
Dave.
the show.
Who else?
Welcome.
Who else had an update or an acquisition or?
Yeah, I got an update.
Mr. David O'Connor.
Hey.
We are now have our eyes focused on you, sir.
Okay, I have with me here 2 cassettes. One cassette here, a nice Maxell chrome tape, one of my favorites, XL2.
Crossover demo.
Yep, crossover demo. And if we have a look on the J card, let's take out that J card. I don't know whether you can. Hang on, let me see if we get that up the right way.
I'm back on.
Laurel Lair, Dale Lair, Ashley, yeah.
Yep.
Dale Lair, keyboards and vocals, Hillary Jones, drums, vocals, Michael George, electric guitar, vocals, Laurel Lair, bass and vocals. Wow. Nice.
Children so, yeah, that's courtesy of Rick Adams.
Okay.
And I'm transferring these using my Nakamichi decks.
Dale Lear is author of Color Baseball and Doubleback.
Yep.
Doubleback.
Yeah.
Pickwitch.
Yeah, and I had a bit of a listen to. I had a bit of a listen to this cassette before the show started. Stuck it in one of my decks and had a bit of a play. And the recording, it's 1987. Was the recording on there? We can see from there. And the recording is held up exceptionally well. The production is fantastic, and there's 4 really nice songs on there. So I'll be transferring that onto my studio computer and remastering it, and then I'll upload it for. So Rick, I'll send you the link, and we can pop it up on wherever. This one here. Have a look what's written on that.
Temple of Ram, copyright 1983 by Rick Adams.
Yes.
I'm not exactly sure what that is. Well, I mean, what it is plain. It's a cassette. It's Temple of Ram on a cassette tape.
Right.
But was that what I sent Tandy when I tried to get them interested in the game, and then they sent it back, or was that like a prototype cassette for me to try out the game and make sure that it would work, or what was that? So I don't really remember what that was, but it'll be interesting to get the binary off of that tape and compare it with an actual, Temple of Ram cartridge and see what the differences are.
Yeah.
So that's actually executable. That's not the source code listings or anything.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that your handwriting?
And how much will that be on eBay?
Yes.
$25,000.
No, I was referring to Nick Marenti's
right
dilemma.
If we look underneath, oh, sorry, okay, Rick.
Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, practically speaking, it's like if I sold that, I would probably get some somewhat serious money for it. I might get, like if you want. In my wildest dreams, I would get like $150, and that's nice. But I'd rather have the tape.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think you could dream a little wilder than that, Rick. Come on.
Yeah. If it was $10,000, I might think about it. I don't know, but we've got a rare, sort of a semi-rare Barbie from way back in the day. And, I looked it up and it's like, oh, it's worth about $150. And it's like, well, that's nice, but I'd rather have the rare Barbie.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, $150 itself is not that rare.
Yeah, I have that.
If we look underneath, I don't know if you can see that.
The blue leader.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I just put these both next to each other, you'll see that right where my finger is there, where the tape heads go in, there's a little felt pad there.
Yeah.
You'll notice on this one, the felt pad's missing.
Okay.
That's on the Temple of Rom tape. Usually, that's bad news. Usually, it means the tape won't play because it needs that pressure pad to press the tape against the heads. But fortunately, my Nakamichi decks, and this is one of the things that Nakamichi did, they have what's called a pad lifter on the heads that actually lifts the pad out of the way. And the Nakamichi mechanisms are so good. They have a pinch roller on each side of the tape and two capstans and two pinch rollers. And it actually tensions the tape in between it, removes the pad altogether.
Oh.
And because the Nakamichi mechanisms are so accurate, it doesn't even need the pad. So this tape will play fine without any modifications in my Nakamichi deck.
Nice.
So I'll be able to transfer the contents of that straight onto the studio computer and then put it into one of the CoCos and see exactly what it is.
So I think I've seen like Tecmo has replaced pads in that case.
Yeah, you can replace them. You can replace them, but it's a very fiddly job, and you've got to get the exact right material. Otherwise, you wear your heads out. But like I said, the Nakamichi has a pad lifter on it. They don't use the pad at all, so it's.
You don't need no stinking pads.
Yeah,
that's right.
So the other tape, the Dale Lear crossover demo tape, is Dale Lear's back in the day. Dale Lear had a Christian rock band, and that was their demo tape, and he gave it to me way long time ago. So I digging around looking for various tapes of mine, I found that. So it'll be interesting to have a listen to that. The third tape that I sent to Neil Blanchard, and he digitized it and then sent me the tape. He's sending me the tape back. Was a company talent show that Dale and I were in the band for, and so there's like a couple of Dale did it like a cover song, and I did a cover song, and then I did an original song. So I already have MP3s of that, so that I've shared links to on the Discord. So
that's the talent tape, the other tape you had, yeah.
The talent show, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was really impressed with the production quality of these originals on this. They're really good quality recordings.
Dale was a real pro musician.
It shows.
He did a lot of session work for commercial, actual commercial albums.
Oh, there you go.
It was kind of interesting when I got hired at the place where Dale worked. I'd actually seen Dale's name. I have the habit of, when I read, I'll read like the credits on albums, and I'd seen Dale Lear's name as a bass player on a lot of Christian albums, and for big name, acts. And so when I met him, when I first got hired, I said, oh, Dale Lear, that's a familiar name. Have I seen your name on like some albums as a bass player? And he says, yeah, that's me actually. So that was kind of interesting.
Do you know which albums he played on? Which artists he played with? He didn't play with Keith Green by any chance, did he?
I don't think with Keith Green, no. Certainly he worked with Ashley Cleveland, because Ashley Cleveland was a friend of Dale's, and I went to like a Bible study at her parents' house, and her and Dale worked together a lot. So Dale probably played on her albums, but he played on other albums before that, and I don't remember which ones. So I guess you'd have to do some Googling and figure that out.
Yep. Now, the recording itself has held up really well too, given it's from the late '80s. It sounds great. Plenty of top end, everyth's there, and it's I noticed he's recorded it without Dolby, so I don't have to worry about any Dolby tracking issues. Like I said before, I put on these headphones and stuck it in the Nakamichi, and it sounds fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to listening to that.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for the talent show tape for years, and finally found it.
You say you got the tape back now too, Rick?
It's on its way back.
Okay. It might be worth sending it off to David O'Connor again too, just because he's got those super decks. He might be able to pull a slightly higher fidelity from the cassette. It might be worth taking another stab at digitizing it.
If you want to.
I don't really think that it would be worth it, but I would be happy to send it to him if it gave him fun.
Oh, look, it's something I absolutely love doing. I've got a fascination with cassettes that goes right back to the 70s. So, and extracting the best I possibly can from them is something that's somewhat of it's like a trophy thing for me to try and get the absolute best quality. So, yeah, if you want to send it over, I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah, if it's fun for you, I'll do it. Yeah.
And again, just for those who may not know, Dale passed away a couple of years ago, and you and he became great friends while he was with us, correct?
Right.
Yeah, they were co-workers.
We were co-workers.
Yeah.
Which is why we're together playing on stage at the company talent show.
I just wanted to give some context for those who may not.
Yeah. Because otherwise, it's like, who's that? So.
And again, he was the author of Color Baseball and Double Back, and a great sounding guy. So.
Yeah.
And he comes up in our little segments sometimes at the start of every show. The Color Baseball.
Oh yeah.
What
work did you do?
What was that? Sorry.
Computer programming for computer systems that would process credit applications. So big banks and things like that.
Did you ever put little surprise pieces of code in there?
We couldn't have gotten away with that.
Fractions of a penny that get filtered into your account?
No. I don't think I ever did anything like that. Not at that job. At my current job, I've got a lot of, in the source of our software, there are some funny comments, but that's about it. There aren't any backdoors that I put in. I just put backdoors in my games, so.
Are you happy for me to upload those to my YouTube channel, Rick, once I've got them digitized, or would you rather me send them direct to you, or?
I'll send them to me, and I'll think about that.
Okay.
I'm undecided about that. It's kind of interesting. The crossover tape, it's kind of like, that's not my tape. That's not my copyright. So, the talent show tape it's a little more clear, especially on my song that I wrote myself. And the others are like cover songs, and so the legality of that is fine. But his tape, I'm not sure what the what the right thing to do is for that.
Yeah, fair enough too. Yeah.
It's almost like I should send it to his family or something.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be a great thing.
That's why I was asking first. I don't want to just go uploading stuff.
Right, absolutely.
Issues and stuff. So,
yeah.
Diego, do you got anything that you've been working on that you can share with us, or nothing to go public with yet?
Not much. I've been doing some work on the X-Filer to get the long file names and folders. But the way that I need to do it, I'll have to write a lot to the directory tracks in the disks. So I'm doing kind of a heavy rewrite on the program itself.
Okay.
Kind of getting over it again. I mean, it's sort of ready if you keep it in a live mode. But once you close the program and open it again, since it didn't really save everything to the disk track, long names are no longer there. The directories are no longer there.
Okay.
But it's going to take a while. It's almost a full rewrite of the program. Let's hope it goes fast enough, because that's my doubt, my concern also. That because I need to write a lot more to the directory track if it's going to go to slow it down too much.
Okay. Just wasn't sure if you. I just wanted to make sure we didn't forget to ask you. We don't get to see you all the time. I'm just glad to have you here. Anybody else? Ron Delvaux, did you have anything you wanted to talk about this week?
Terry Steggy sent me this old computer.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that is cool. That's cool.
It's a Tekra.
It's an early 90s Toshiba. I have a couple of those.
Weighs about 20 pounds.
You know what's really
cool.
slick with those? Is the CD unit will come out, and then you can put it in an external case on a cord, and you put the floppy disk in. So you can
it was a bay, a drive bay, right?
Yeah, bay.
Yeah, I've seen some like that, and those bays were like multi identities.
Yeah,
some of them could be like extra battery power or other things like that too, right?
Yeah, I had a 46 based version of that at work years and years ago. So
yeah,
I don't have a power cord for it yet.
Those Toshiba laptops are really, they're bulletproof. They're really reliable.
Yeah, and they have a track point, like the IBM track point in them. Also, the power cord is just one of those little oval-shaped ones. The power supply is built in, so
now,
yeah, they're great. I actually have multiple hard drives. I have one with OS2 Warp on it, have another with Windows on it, and then just switch them around. It's really great.
Now you
probably,
go ahead. Sorry about that.
And it probably has the real serial port, which means you can use it as a drive-wire server.
Oh, cool.
Or a terminal into Nitrous 9.
Yep,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'll make you a power cord.
Hey Ron, how much memory does it have?
Hold my
I don't know yet. It may be as much as 20
None
meg.
after the power.
Is it?
None after the power cord's connected to it.
The one I have actually has like 96 megs in it. It's like 64 plus another 16.
Wow.
It's like, really? 1992 had like more than 64 megs in it.
Megs or K?
Loaded
Meg?
no megs.
Megabyte.
Yeah, megs.
Meg. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's a loaded system. It's got this laptop. It's got more than 64 megs in it from the early 90s.
That's insane.
Dang.
Ron, you also you got something else from Terry too, didn't you? Get your stickers, your imaginary stickers that you.
Yep, I put them on my machines. And
is that something you could show us, or are they're not in a position where we can see them?
I don't have it up.
Okay.
They're on Facebook.
You guys
if somebody wants to bring that up.
Yeah, you can find it on my Ron's Garage page.
Yeah,
it's also on CoCo page too.
Okay. Yeah, I thought those were kind of neat.
Yeah, they are
stickers. Yeah.
He surprised me completely.
Yeah,
you know, I said, "You made these?" And then he asked me if they fit. They were perfect. You know?
Terry's a good guy.
Terry's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right.
He's got a big heart.
Yeah.
Regarding drive wire and serial, you can use a drive. Let me try that again. You can use a modern computer with USB to serial adapter, can't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's so rare to find a physical serial port on machines anymore that it's just kind of when you find them, use them, because they're there.
They started phasing them out about 15 years ago, and then a few like IBMs and Dells had them until about 10 years ago.
That's what they look like.
Yep. There's a VGA and a serial.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
I've got a couple of old laptops here with RS-232 serials in them, so I might use one of them for a drive wire.
I have an IBM ThinkPad 25 that has both a parallel and a serial, and it runs like Windows 95 and DOS.
That's all you ever need, isn't it?
Yeah. Nick Marentes, you got any updates or anything you want to tell us about that you're working on?
Well, I'm still working on Rally SG, the game, and it's finished, but I'm at a stage where I'm doing the feature creep and fine tuning, documentation, packaging. Yeah, so there's a bit of work, but the code is done.
The feature creep is the longest process, isn't it?
Well, that's right. You gotta learn when to stop.
Well, but have you ordered your stamper for the cassette tapes yet?
$250 on eBay.
Yeah.
Also, is there going to be an early bird discount where you're only going to charge $229 per copy?
Discount.
Pre-orders.
Get it while it's cheap.
Pre-order and save 10%.
I actually did send a message to that guy on the Doughnut dilemma. Says, look, I'm interested. I told him I'm the developer and the creator of that game, but not for $250. Will you take 10?
$10 hard money and $1 million in gratitude.
I told him you ain't gonna sell it, so take the 10.
Interesting.
You throw in some Vegemite.
Interesting to hear his response to you, Nick.
Yeah, I know.
Whether he actually believes you.
Let me predict his response.
An expletive.
I was going to go for maybe an expletive or
something that rhymes with pluck yourself. So,
or it might be crikey.
Did anybody else?
You got to be sheeting me.
Sawed off.
Did anybody else have any updates or acquisitions? Alan,
I have one minor one to mention.
Okay, Alan rose
for
his
anybody
hand
who's
first.
on the
Alan rose his hand first.
Alan's first. Yeah, we don't want any look, Curtis.
Just real quick, I got a shipment from the Cylon Homeworld. So
okay.
A mini MPI and a CoCo SDC for my CoCo 2, so it's up on DriveWire now.
Cool.
That's all good. And Curtis might like this one. So
Oh, wow.
OS 9 level 1, or what is that?
Yep, OS 9 level 1. So
thought
I
it was
actually have
Mickey.
a legal license now.
I thought it
to
was
drive.
Pegasus Phantom Riders.
Nope. And that's
Hey,
it.
Alan, you should show us your double-decker CoCo setup there. How does that work?
The CoCo 2, CoCo 3, and an MC10 in the back.
There you go.
Ready and available at any time.
Yeah, they're all available at the same time. So I've got an LCD panel up here for the CoCo 3, and then I've got a CRT that I can do for the CoCo 2 or the MC10, and I'm getting a CoCo VGA for the CoCo 2, and then I can put it up on the LCD. So it has a VGA port as well. And I can run the CoCo 3 over an HDMI to my big monitor, which is I'm currently using for all this other stuff. Cool.
Aren't you
Makes
just
it
an
up.
overachiever?
No, it's just playing catch up as fast as I can.
Cool. All right.
This is one of the games I had as a kid, and I was able to reacquire it thanks to Mr.
No, we don't want to hear you, Nick. We've got to hear Curtis now.
It's not your turn, Marotta.
I don't care.
Oh,
When you have
crazy.
hair like this, you don't wait for anybody.
Ooh, there he goes. He plays the card.
Oh, wow.
His picture up again.
I'm using my hair privilege.
That's it.
Oh, there we go.
L. Curtis Boyle, it is now your turn, sir.
Oh, you muted me. I will not be silent.
You just see Nick and Mad Dude in a big swoosh.
Pull a plug out. Unmute it. Pull a plug out. Turn off his electricity.
I forgot what I was going to say now after all that. No,
I'm sorry.
Okay, now it's Nick's turn.
I just wanted to say, if anybody else is on the GimmyX beta program and has the beta boards from Ed, I wrote and just uploaded last night a quick little utility for Nitrous Nano just to check to see if you have a GimmyX installed, and then it should report the firmware version of it, because there's been a couple of versions around of the firmware, and also will identify whether yours has been set up for the SDR, the old speed RAM, which means you can only run up to 1.78 megahertz, or if it's got the DDR version, which will run the full 2.86, that requires a Boomerang with some modifications to it, flash firmware upgrade, the Triad Plus, or the actual 2 meg board that Ed's selling too. So I want some people to test it, because so far it's just been me. Bill's kind of been busy with his wedding plans here because he's getting married in a couple weeks. So he hasn't had a chance to test it. So I'm hoping if somebody else is on the beta program.
Best way to ruin a relationship, getting married.
I know. I think smartassery in your case has a lot to do with it too. But
Not actual advice.
Anyway, please test it and let me know if it seems to be working properly for anybody else listening.
I'd love to do that, but I've got PAL CoCo 3s, and GimmyX unfortunately doesn't fit. So I've still got to work out with Ed what we're going to do there.
You just need to get an NTSC motherboard and do what Nick Morantes did, and then
That's
you'll have
what
your
we-
artifact
that's what-
colors.
Yeah, that's what Ed and I are discussing, is swapping motherboards. I'll give him a PAL one so he can work on a GimmyX for PAL, and I'll have an NTSC one that'll run the current GimmyX.
When you send stuff to the States, how long does it take?
Usually I can get things within 2 to 3 weeks, but with coronavirus, those tapes that I just received, that took like 2 months to get here.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah, all normal shipping times, especially international, are out the window right now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's somebody behind you, Ron. She's right behind you.
Yeah. I got a couple of things I can show real quickly. It's just a brief show. It's because I haven't had a chance to hook anything up yet. But if you were following the MC10 group on Facebook, as I'm sure a lot of people do religiously, Ed Snyder posted pictures of this. This is my MC10 that he upgraded. So
There you are.
the only thing I can show you is this is the composite mod here. Right, which is the same thing Brian Weasler was showing earlier. So you're basically using like a stereo jack. It's a 2-lead, 1/8 inch to 2 RCA outs. So one will be audio, one will be video. So that's the composite mod. This also has the internal 8K upgrade where you can run a full P Mode 4 screen. And the other thing he sent me with it, which I haven't had a chance to do anything with, because I haven't even looked at this yet. I've been so busy with work. But this is a replacement GAL chip for my MCX 128 that makes it compatible with the internal 8K upgrade here. So that I got this I think Monday or Tuesday. It came in pretty quick. And I just literally had no time to play with this. I really can't wait to hook this up and get the composite going and play with MC10 software on a beefed out MC10. Something else I've been eBaying too it's definitely retro related, just not computer related, but I've gotten back into reading these books from my childhood. This was a series of books that's called The Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators. It's books, I remember reading my first one in second grade. I got it from the public library. And this was like
Jones and the Boys, yeah.
Yeah. So I, like, for birthdays and Christmas, I would get books like these, and I think there was over 24 of them in this format. So I had a handful that my parents found in a book in their attic, and they gave me. So I had like 4 or 5 of my original from my childhood, and I just been kind of eBaying them now, and I'm actually trying to read them in order. So I'm on book 4 right now, and I just ordered book 5 that I found. So I'm going to try to get the collection. There's about 23 of these in this original hardcover format before they switched formats. So an interesting thing to do. It's definitely retro related. This book was printed in 1965, so it's a little bit older than the CoCo. Is when that series started. So it's a pretty cool series, and surprisingly now, reading these books many years later, I find that the stories are still kind of entertaining. They're made for kids, so it's like an adventure of young kids written for young readers, but the stories read well, And I really like some of the dated references. Like I've heard the word tramp a lot, So maybe we're gonna go down this alley and we're gonna meet a tramp, And it's just like these were very 50-esque, things. And so I like some of the references they say. They're very Scooby-Doo-ish, some of the things they say and the way the way the mysteries unfold. So, but I've enjoyed reading them. I'm a person who doesn't like to read.
Yes,
so the fact that I'm reading these books it says something, right? So
now, do they have a lot of pictures, or are they pop-ups to keep your attention?
No, and mostly a lot of black and white text. There would be one picture about every 20 or 30 pages to capture one scene, which was kind of neat, So very much like a Hardy Boys style thing.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be a new collection hobby of mine. Yeah, who was this? Who just called me?
There's Mark. According to Wikipedia, there are 43 books in the series.
Yes, there is, but I think they switched publishers and switched authors at some point in time. So I think in that original Random House hardback version, there ended up being about 23 or 24, and then I think things switched. But there's a website and a Facebook group that I'm a member of too, and apparently they got really popular, like in Germany, and they were translated to a lot of different languages. And so that series is, and just like we were posting pictures in our CoCo group when we get something new, there are people posting pictures in this Facebook group too for the Three Investigators stuff. So as I'm reading my books, I'm posting pictures of them and stuff too. So
I think I probably only read about 15 or 20 of them. So
yeah, I probably read a half a dozen to a dozen in my childhood, but. I'm on the second book now that I didn't read back in the day, right? So it's kind of cool. And that's it for me.
Did you guys have the Enid Blyton books over there?
Who?
Cool. Enid Blyton and the Famous Five. It might be an Australian English thing, maybe. I don't know.
That does not ring a bell for me. I remember Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys,
Encyclopedia Brown.
Encyclopedia Brown. Yeah.
Tom Swift.
My dad mentioned Tom Swift. I don't remember that name, Tom Swift.
We had the Hardy Boys over here.
Yeah.
Remember those ones?
Yeah, Tom Swift was more of the 40s and 50s, wasn't it? If I remember.
Tom Corbett and Tom Swift. But no, there is a 1980s Tom Swift series called Tom Swift 3.
Interesting.
I like the 2-minute mysteries.
Yeah, those were kind of neat.
Really, really, really short stories.
Yeah.
To say, why did you know that the person killed them?
Right.
Oh, there's an ice cube and water was left behind and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't know if this happened on the Alfred Hitchcock series, but I know on the Hardy Boys, like if you go back to the very original, the old brown cover that were just plain brown cloth and text type thing, some of the stories got completely rewritten when they re-released them on the blue hardbacks. Like not just tweaked a little bit for language, but like the story had nothing to do with the original. And one I remember actually I had both versions was the Flaming Torch mystery, because the original one was completely different plot than the revised later one that came out.
Oh wow! Wonder why they did that.
I don't know about that's possible, because I noticed as I'm looking for these on eBay, as they were re-released through different generations, they've changed the covers to make them more appropriate for the 80s versus the 70s or 60s or whatever. On the website, they do talk about some errata in the different publications and republications. So some of them were grammatical, some of them were continuity breaks, other ones were just like editing mistakes. And so the website gets pretty cool in the different versions and how to tell what version you have and things like that. So it is kind of an interesting little hobby too, to collect old books. And it's probably easier to find some of these books than it is to find some of the CoCo stuff that we're looking for, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Are they charging $250 a copy yet, or?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. They like the one I just bought. I bought book 5. I think I got it for $28 with shipping. But that book I just showed you guys, I got a group of 4 books with shipping for just under $30, which is really good because sometimes they sell for $30 a book. There are some people selling them for several, just like a CoCo, just like that $250 Doughnut Dilemma. There are people trying to sell individual books for hundreds of dollars. So it really depends on the seller. But I am going to start watching for those books on eBay now too. This more old crap to put in my house to make my wife really happy.
Yeah. That's one thing I enjoy about being single. I can bring in whatever I want, whenever I want.
I'm like what's his name? Jetpack Space Jones, right?
Riding your lazy boy.
That's right, getting my rocket powered lazy boy, shooting shit up.
Being on things in the middle of space.
Anybody else got anything they want to talk about before we put a Rick Adams, legendary game designer, Rick Adams.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. Let me share my screen. Well, let me first explain. For some demented reason, I got the itching to try to write some programs in BASIC, which I never, back in the day, really played with a whole lot. Because, you weren't going to write a program that can sell it to Radio Shack. So I wanted to do, but the problem is that entering BASIC programs from an actual computer makes me want to scream and rage. So from a keyboard, because you got 32 columns and it wraps, and the editing is clumsy, and so I wanted to enter the BASIC program on my CoCo Pi, and then convert it with Toolshed to the right format, and then mount it with my drive wire cable onto and my CoCo SDC. On a disk mounted on my Color Computer 3 actual hardware. So I did that, and I typed in 10 print hello mom, this is my first program, and got that over on the Color Computer 3, and I said, wow, that's really cool, but as long as I'm doing sending it over there, why don't I send it through a preprocessor, do some interesting things with it. So let me share my screen. Let's see. Let's this one. Share that one. Okay, can you see the screen now?
No, not yet.
There should be
almost.
My
there we go.
Now I can see it. Yep.
There we go. So so this is what I'm typing in over on the CoCo Pi, and it's like, well, I don't want to have to do any line numbers except if I really have to, and so basically, this is just like a junk program that I'm testing with. And then what that translates to and gets sent over to the actual hardware is the thing that you see in the bottom in sort of cyan color at the very bottom there. Yep. It's all squished together. It has continuation statements. Everything's converted to uppercase. And it generates line numbers sometimes when it has to. This is not really ready for prime time yet. Still got some bugs, but that's what I'm working on, and I thought it was interesting.
And there's like 0 spaces in there too, so your CoCo code is very compact.
Yeah, that's cool. What people did when they typed in BASIC programs. People had so little memory that they didn't want to put in spaces because that would take up extra whole 15s of bytes that you didn't really need to use. Also, you don't enter the when you were typing in stuff from the Rainbow magazine, you didn't put in the comments, because who needs that? Right. So you notice it strips out all the comments. Also, it's got I didn't know this, but on the CoCo Pi, it's got really fancy syntax highlighting. So you see all the different colors.
Yeah, very pretty.
The comments are in blue and the keywords are in yellow, and it's got cyan for the functions, and those are specified by a like a parameter file that's tucked away, hidden away. But that parameter file was done for QBasic back in the day.
Okay.
So it sort of worked for Color Basic, and it sort of didn't. So I took that parameter file and I redid it so that so it understands, extended Color Basic and all of the vagaries of that. And I'm going to share that with Ron Klein, so it'll go in the next CoCo distribution.
Neat.
Cool.
Neat.
So I will stop sharing.
Okay.
And you can take over from there.
Excellent. Yeah. One of the pet projects that I want to get into once I get my MC10 hooked up and everything is I want to come up with, similar to how we have the ultimate SDC image, I want to come up with the ultimate MC10 image that works with the MC server off of Pi DriveWire. Because according to Jim Gary, not all of his games will run in MCX 128 with the extra memory and extra modes, because he's doing a lot of pokes and things like that, where it won't work in the MCX basic that uses the MC like DriveWire type command. So I want to figure out what games will work. There are also some minutia of how certain WAV files will or will not work with the MC from Pi DriveWire. So I want to just kind of through trial and error come up with a bunch of programs that will work that I can run basically over DriveWire on my real MC10 in play, and come up with a nice little directory structure. And once I get all that stuff figured out, then I can give that to Ron Klein, where future updates to CoCo Pi will have where you can run your MC10 from all on the Pi, because the next build of MAME is also going to support MCX 128 commands on the MC10 in MAME. So in the very near future, hopefully all of my discovery and organization of finding files that are compatible, I can roll that up into the CoCo Pi so other people can play all the Jim Gary games by using a very easy to navigate directory structure of loading things in and playing with them. So that's one of my pet projects, is as I go down the road of MC10 discovery. So it's been way too busy to get started on that this week, though. Cool. What else? Have we missed anything?
Oh, one last thing.
Ron Delvaux, ladies and gentlemen, has a little something for us.
I lost 27 pounds so far, just
really
changing my eating habits.
Oh, what did you change?
I have a neck now.
Wow. Congratulations,
man.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well done.
Yes,
congratulations.
What's your secret?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's based off the South Beach diet.
Okay.
And we've been on it 8 weeks.
Okay.
And doing good.
Good work.
Good for you.
How many, did you say what? 20-something pounds, did you say?
27.
27. That's a good effort. That's a really good effort.
Yeah, every day I write down my weight.
Wow.
Energy levels must be a lot better, are they?
I was huge. I started at 321.9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now I'm down to 294.0.
No, wow, good for you.
That's
awesome. I do have one question though. Does your diet plan include CoCo Pi?
Without the smoke, yeah.
I lost enough weight once that at the doctor they weighed me, and the computer said, "Do you have the right person?" Because the weight has changed too much.
Wow.
They told me about that.
Wow.
So I mentioned that on the way out to the reception. She said, "Wow, what's your secret?" And I said, "Eat less, exercise more." And she said, "Oh, that."
Oh, that. Oh. You mean there's not just a pill I can take?
Yeah.
There is, but it'll kill you.
No, you're no fun at all.
You're one of those.
I can relate totally to that. I actually used to work as a strength training coach and a power lifter and a personal trainer back in my previous life of craziness.
Wow.
Although in all honesty, I must say that, although I did lose weight, I found it again.
Ah, you found it. All right, okay. There you go.
Not as much as I lost, but
okay.
It was all sitting in a box at the back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do we have any parting thoughts or final words before we press the button, Frank? Anyone? Parting thoughts, final words. Thank you all for the show. I'm glad I made it. I thought I was going to pass out there a little while earlier, so I ended up making it. Thanks, Mark B, for trying to pick up the ball. All right, I'm going to play the credits, so you have about a minute and a half to think about parting thoughts, and then we'll go ahead and put a fork in the show. Thank you, everybody, for being here today in the live chat. We've had Mikey, we've had James Jones, we've had Ken Reichard, Dave Phillison, Leo Hack, and Mixer is out there. Hey, Leo Hack, Mark Overholzer, Ken Reichard. Nick Marotta, Coco Man, and Dave Phillipson, and Nimble, and Steve Rasmussen. That's Buck Owens, for those who don't know. Explore VR, Ben Drakes was out here. Davey Mitchell was out here earlier. And Robbie Inman was here. Dave and Sharon. Davey Mitchell, Canadian Retro Things was here. Frodo NL. Aaron from the Amigo Retros Gaming Group was here. Tom C. from Jersey was here. Sixy, Karen Anscombe, author of X-Roar, was here. Mark D. Overholzer, Mike Craig on Facebook was here. You name it, they were here. They came out. We hopefully did not disappoint too much. And for those of you who we disappointed, we're sorry. We're going to play the outro, and we'll be back here in just a minute. This concludes another episode of CoCo Talk, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things CoCo Talk, visit us on the web at CoCoTalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live.
CoCo Talk is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCo Talk is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at our website at CoCoTalk.live.
CoCo Talk is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCo Talk is rocking the 8-bit world.
CoCo Talk would not exist without the community, its cast, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, David O'Connor, Brian Weasler, Terry Steggy, Nick Marotta, John Strong, and many more, especially to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and James Differendaffer for making my head explode. Please help support the CoCo community by visiting some of its various contributors. A list of resources is available at imacoconut.com. That's IMACOCONUT.com. The CoCo Talk theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. And we can't not close out the show without sharing with you the very dreamy. This is like a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. This is the dreamy, the decadent Nick Marotta here. This is just sensory overload for you all. Thank you.
Chocolate.
Thank you all for being here. Final thoughts. Who wants to have the last word? Anyone?
I'll say something.
Yes.
Hey, there's talk about CoCo Fest.
Okay.
Before the end of the year. Have you heard anything?
Nothing official. I know there is the intention and the will for there to be a CoCo Fest. September-ish. No, I have not heard that.
As long as I don't have a second wave.
Yes. So, well, hopefully as we get some more facts available, we'll be able to share those. But that would be great if we could have a CoCo Fest this year.
Absolutely.
It would be great.
Absolutely.
It would be good.
Very much so.
On the birthday of the CoCo.
Yeah.
So
I got one. Yep.
So I don't know. I kind of want to. I don't know. Rick Adams, are you still there? Rick. Okay, well, you're muted. I can't hear you.
He's muted.
Okay, so before we go, I made a commercial with you in mind, and I'm not sure if you've seen this one or not. So maybe this will be the final thing.
I'm here.
Maybe we'll see we'll make this the final thing that we play. But I know how you were saying you just love when you say these trying times and these difficult times and all these things like that. How you mentioned that. Yeah. So I made a commercial with that in mind. So we'll go. I don't know if you saw it before. So we'll go ahead and we'll try to play that right now. Difficult, trying, in uncertain times, the world has changed. The way we work, travel, and interact has gone digital. Tandy and Radio Shack have been using safe social practices and empowering people with technology to work remotely for over 4 decades. CoCoTALK has been meeting online with Skype, Discord, and Zoom to safely connect people for years. When you want safety, technology, and social collaboration, turn to Tandy, Radio Shack, and CoCoTALK, innovating by example. There you go. And there you have it. All right. So on that note, we are going to press the button. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure anybody else saw that. We're pressing the button, Frank. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Later, all.